I'm an idiot.
1 rack. So
all right, Algared, hold on. Hold your horses. G'day and welcome to Star Citizen. I'm Execute and I'm an idiot. Right, we've been streaming on Twitch for almost half an hour, 20 minutes, and I forgot to press the go live button for YouTube. I'm an idiot. But that's what happens when we get distracted at the start. What's up, by the way? Yeah, have fun. We've been sitting here talking for 20 minutes and I didn't even realize.
We have.
Guys on YouTube having a great time.
I don't feel it. I don't feel it bad now.
Yeah, I feel so stupid. Oh my god, what a dickhead! I was sitting there going, "Why is the YouTube shit not working? Why?" And then I log onto the website. This is 34 people waiting, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't press the go button. What a dickhead!" And so I redid all that just for the VOD afterwards because it'll all have the intro and all that.
I was wondering, why is he saying, hold on, stop.
All the shit we talked about.
And then the screen goes, and the screen just disappears, and okay, reboot.
All right, I have to restart the bot now. So yeah.
So for YouTube, we were talking about the problems with the Meteor, the perceived problem with the Meteor, in terms of it's a glass cannon.
Yeah.
It's upgunned to the gills, and that feels very Drake in terms of the philosophy and everything else that the game has always put forward. And sure, CIG can change the rules and the lines and the descriptions and everything else. But I always understood the way they were designing the game is they wanted certain designs to have, or certain manufacturers to have, if that's an RSI ship, it's going to be, sluggish, it's going to be this, it's going to be armored, it's going to be agility. Oh, this is Drake. It's going to be heavily gunned. It's going to be, a armor like a paper bag. It's going to have so many shields. It's not going to have any safety features. Oh, this is an Origin ship. It's going to have a lot of wasted space, but it's going to be, resilient in terms of redundancies.
Something wrong.
And that seems to be thrown out the window.
Something wrong with the bot. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why.
It hates YouTube.
It's doing something. I think it's because Pickles has been doing things in the background and stuff like that. So just double check testing it again. Yeah, that didn't come through. Shit. All right, I think we might have to go back to oh shit, they're hype training us on Twitch again. I think we'll have to just do... No, the new bot's not working at all either, and Piggles is not replying. So he's off doing something. I think we'll just have to do a Q&A today again.
Okay.
So...
Which means I can't... I did... one of the things I did is I've got the screen playing on the big TV. So when I'm looking at the big TV, it looks like I'm looking up, and it's...
Yep.
Why kind of got that?
Thank you.
Gaze. But even the font there is thank you
for the sub, Tomo, on Prime. Right, go ahead.
Always appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Tomo. So you're going to be reading the questions because I can't see squat.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You can manage the chat. Yes, Simpact, that's working. Thank you for the test. Appreciate it. I don't know what's up with the bot though. It's not crashing. It's just not running. So obviously Pickles has changed some stuff in the background. Yeah, no bot today.
He fixed stuff, but it's not working for us, so unfortunately.
All right, well, we'll struggle through. I feel like such an idiot, but again, all that stuff that happened this morning, because the other thing that we were obviously talking about for some of that 20 minutes was that Algared had issues getting started. But it's all good now. I had more problems than he did, it turns out, because I forgot to press the go button. But yeah. Right. Let's go through it again then. So let's go back through the Meteor stuff, because the other thing that I found, I'll go, and apologies to people who are on Twitch, but this is going to be a recording, so you're going to remember for other people to see it. So what we're talking about a little bit was, we were talking about the price of the Meteor, and someone on our Discord has been, their org mate has been essentially tracking the prices of ships, and he can now quite accurately predict what they're going to be. And he was actually predicting that the Meteor was going to be $245. I think he did quite well. And so he basically had this massive spreadsheet of all these different pricings and stuff like that, and then he graphed it and basically worked out the math and basically worked out it was going to be $245. I think that's pretty clever. And as I was saying at the time, it's probably going to destroy the guessing game competition that Lemmy has on the Discord.
He's banned from Lemming's ship prediction program because he'd win every time because he was that close.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah, so please, guys, get your questions in. I know I stuffed up there, but yeah, and the bot's not working again. God, what a terrible stream today. Yeah, I went. It doesn't work, Piggles. I went in there. He's now messaging me. It don't work. I'm live, and it's dead.
Yep, it's kaput.
Yeah, it's not working. I'm going to start it, but if you're listening, Piggles. Started it multiple times, and it's shitting the bed.
And it just doesn't want to work for us.
Bed and all bot not working either. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, I don't know what to do in that case, but yeah. Still no questions. I don't know what to say. Right. I don't really have much else to talk about this week.
Very quick show.
Yeah.
We do have the Bar Citizen in Jakarta this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna record anything, or do you want me to like join in and say hello to people? You can give me a call if you want. I'll be around.
I will consider. I'll see what I can do and what the coffee house allows for us to. What functionality is there? But that's this afternoon, so it is currently 5:30 in the morning for me, and the Bar Citizen is from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So it's jam 3 ke jam 6 untuk orang Indonesia. So jadi kamu di Jakarta, come along, join in. I think you'll find information in the Indonesian Bar Citizen stuff, but it is at Symmetry Coffee House in Pondok Indah, Jakarta. So in the suburb of Pondok Indah. So yeah, from 3 to 6.
So there's a question here. I'm going to skip the first one because I did like this one, and I think it relates to a little bit of the stuff that's going on right now. So Socially Confused says, which corporation are you shilling for this event?
Stupid question. Stupid question. What corporation am I calling for?
Well, so this is an old image now, but I took this and shared it with Space Tomorrow just before, would be about 12, 13 hours ago now when I took this.
Yep.
And the event had only been live for 6 or 7 hours at that point, probably 8 hours. But you can see Hurston's like massively out in front, and I was really surprised by the order.
What can I say?
I would like, I actually think the 5% discount has put Microtech at literally at number 2. Because if you look at it just based on skins alone, and this is not to shit on Microtech, but most skins in the game are defaultly white, so they're probably the least interesting. But that 5% white thing that they added that we have no idea was coming has literally put Microtech into second spot. It probably needs it though, because nobody goes to fucking Microtech. It is in the middle of nowhere.
But that's the type of thing games would do to encourage you to go areas where no one goes. They make the trade there, or they make something a little bit more appealing. And
the best place is Hurston because it's centrally located. It's no matter what you do about it, if you put it in any other locations, it puts other people out. You put it in Hurston, they're less out because it's the only one that's centrally located right now. And this is obviously not going to be permanent because once the dynamic economy goes in, that all goes out the window. So however long that takes. But I'm just short of getting to 777 at Hurston right now. I probably am going to go around and do them all. But man, it's a massive slog to go from 4 to 5 because it's almost double what you've done. Every time it doubles, basically. And the way it works is they're always 4 SCU cargo containers, so you can't just take a bigger ships and start doing 32 SCU cargo containers. No, that would be easy. That would make the event too easy. So you've literally got to sit there and slog and move 4 SCU cargo containers like a smuck.
Yep. When I was in PTU, the biggest I saw was 8. But yeah, they still made it a slog. And yeah, you could take. I would still take a bigger ship. Like I did when in PTU. I did the first one in a small ship, but even that one was 7 cargo containers. So that meant if you're using an Aurora or a Mustang, you were doing 2 or 3 runs. So the ES, the LN, and the MR, you needed to take, and the LN, you had to take 3-3-1 to three different trips to complete that the basic mission. And once you started going up to the higher missions, it was just
I think the interesting thing is as time goes on, it will fill out because you'll get all the people that'll complete Hurston and then they'll move on and then fill up the next one. I actually think over a month's time, Microtech's probably going to win the whole thing. Because if they're that popular just on it, like the people that play there, they'll eventually fill them all out. They'll go back and keep playing there. Like the Hurston people, once they get the skins, they're going to go back to where they like. And if where they like is Microtech as well, then Microtech will take the whole thing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if, people go by, like I intend to do them all. I haven't been able to start yet because
I guarantee you some people are not going to have time.
Yep, I'll probably run out of time.
It is like you are talking about probably close to 6 hours per one, if not more.
Yep. Yeah. And that will be tough. And I'm going to try, but it's going to be a tough slog to be able to fit the times in for me. But yeah.
Real quick, on your TV, can you bring up Twitch? Because there are some questions coming in on Twitch, and you can monitor those ones as well. I was going to suggest.
No, I can't because the TV is acting as a monitor.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is open a web browser that's on Twitch.
I suppose I could try. I haven't tried that. I've just got it on.
We have the technology.
The monitor, so yeah, but I haven't done the combined screen.
Do it on the fly, Algared. I do it on the fly all the time.
No,
you're just gonna have to be awkward and do it on the fly. No, there is a question on Twitch that I'll do for you. So Demon Wolf says, question, with how great the Raft is with the event, and given how the SCU it could carry was increased to 192, why didn't the price increase? Also, can we assume that the whole be coming out eventually? Will the price be changed then? I think it also lost some things, Demon Wolf, because it was clearly aimed at being the unloader for the whole series. And with the way gameplay has changed, that's why the Raft changed so drastically. Because they had to make it better because they were removing the Sky Crane ability. It's really obvious. Like it was clearly designed to carry 32 SCU cargo containers, and now it carries pretty much anything. Because they realized that they were going to have to fix that ship up because they were taking the functionality away. And when you look at it, it used to have all these extra geometry on it, and you could tell it was going to expand out and be longer. You go look now, a lot of that geometry has been removed. It doesn't do that anymore. They changed its functionality. The terminal at the back that used to look down between the gap, and you could see all the cargo crates, it's literally been blocked off now. You just can't see anything. So unfortunately, you've got a ship that's been stopgapped, so to speak, but it's actually really functional. It is actually the best ship to use for the missions right now because of its cargo capacity. And we're going to talk now about Piss Poor Pete and how he's learning the hard way. So Piss Poor Pete, I was on a stream with him 2 days ago, and I was on a stream with him last night where he was venting. In his infinite wisdom, decided to test chat and lost. What happened was he said, well, if I get donated $100, I will use the Raft for 24 hours. He's now using the Raft for 24 hours. The hard way. And it actually is the best ship right now for the missions because it's the smallest ship that can take the largest amount of cargo you can carry is 180 SCU, and again, it being 192, it's just perfect for those missions. It's really good with the tractor beam on it to load and unload. Because it's mostly external cargo, you can also load it really quickly. The only downside to it becomes around other players that can steal your cargo or attack you. But if you're running almost unabated, it is clearly the best ship for these missions, without a shadow of a doubt. Have you managed to try the Raft at all since it was tweaked? Probably haven't because you've been a bit busy, but...
No, because I've been over here.
Very, very good.
So I haven't been able to try that.
Yeah, it's been really, 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 really good. And I played a lot of the PTU doing a lot of the testing for this event, and I knew it was going to be a popular event. I do hope they bring this event back and make it permanent down the road. I don't know when that would be. I think the only other mistake they made was the skins for Microtech. I think they should have made them green and blue as opposed to white, and just made it for this event. And then they, down the road, they could have brought back the white and blue skins because that's what they want Microtech to be. But for this event, they should have evened the playing field, and Microtech would have taken it without even blinking if they'd made them green. Yeah. Do you want to weigh in there at the all on the Raft, or he also mentions the whole beam? He also mentions the price. I don't think it needs an increase in price because it essentially lost functionality. And they'll probably never admit that it was going to be a Sky Crane, but it was really obvious when you look at what it used to do. Like, why did it only carry 30? It couldn't even carry a single SCU container. It could only carry 32s until they changed it. And then they literally turned the whole thing into like a flatbed upside down truck. So, can't tell. That's Algared's concentration face. This is the effort it requires to open a browser and open Twitch and go to our Twitch channel.
And it is a pain in the patouche.
Now you know what I have to deal with. This is literally boomer vision right now, people. You are seeing what I have to deal with behind the scenes. Right. Whole B, I don't want to see that increase either because I think that's more of a concept problem. They essentially wanted to have the 3 spindles, and they need to resolve that. That's not anything to do with the people that brought the ship.
It wants me to log in, and it doesn't want to let me use my login, so it's being a pain in the bottom.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, no, I can't actually open the chat because it won't open it.
Okay. All right, that's all right. I'll keep doing both. Another one on Twitch. I am going to favor the ones on Twitch, YouTube. I apologize because yours will stay there in a list. The Twitch ones scroll off the screen, right? So, Hook 2005 says, do you see a problem with too many people and the hauling pickup locations?
And I've just got that, and Arcane Digits there doing his middle finger pussycats. So yes.
No, they're salutes.
Fine.
There are salutes and middle fingers. He did the salutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite see that. I just knew the new one.
You can look for the tail.
In terms of the locations, I can only go on what I couldn't recall from doing them on PTU, and I didn't mind doing the missions on PTU. I didn't think there'd be a problem. I assume
there's no real problem there at the moment because there's a bug where only one person can grab the mission at a time. But yeah, there will be initially at the start until people taper out and start to spread out. It has been a little bit of an issue. I think the main problem I'm having is people not having proper ship pad etiquette. I ran into a guy yesterday that literally the only person at the entire location. I come in a Hercules, and he takes the big pad, and I'm like, dude, you gotta move. Yes. And then he gets you know what happens when two Australians fight. It's like, if this can you blah 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 blah, gone backwards and forwards, and then eventually he moved. So yeah.
And of course, he's probably in a small ship.
It was in a Cutlass. It was in a Cutlass on a big pad. Yet he could have been on the other pad, which is made for his size ship. So yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah, it is frustrating when people do things like that. But but
that'll teach CIG as well. Like the other thing that I've seen that's really annoying, I saw one where it had 7 people, and the guy that took the photo was in a Star Lancer, and there's literally 7 people, and there's only one small pad at the location. So I think they're going to learn that you need to have a minimum of maybe 2 pads in every single location, or at least 2 elevators. Even though, because when they have the smaller pad, it only has 1 elevator. They need to have 2 at every one, because at least then you can land next to it and at least access the elevator. So again, they're going to learn stuff and get data from this.
In some sense, these missions are a bit like the Algared missions on any MMO. And you'll have people, and it'll just be like, if you go to any ports, any mining city or any port city or any steel city where you've got the ships coming into harbour, you'll see them lined up out on the horizon for miles. And they just wait. They just take their turn. And I think that's one of the things we'll do. We'll have lines of people just waiting to land and do that, just like MMOs. Is it frustrating? Yes. Will CIG develop that and make it easier? I hope so. Will they make different locations for those missions? I hope so. But if they don't, then there's just going to be that etiquette where people just line up and wait, and then you'll get people who try to queue jump, and
well, much like them, we're going to have to learn our own etiquette, though, aren't we? So we're going to learn as we go along. Just a couple of things people have been saying. I've just been noticing chat. So 90 says CIG never learn from mistakes. I don't think that's true. I think they're very slow to learn, but they do learn. And then Peaceball Pete says, here's a question. He goes, why are you in a Hercules when the Raft is better? Because this is him trying to rub shit in, right? Because I try every different ship, Pete, to know which one's the best. And I then retry them when that goes live. That's why I was using the Hercules. And it is confirmed that the Raft is a lot better for this mission sets than the Hercules. The Hercules is a pain in the ass to load, unfortunately, because you got to go up and into the ramp, where the Hercules is just, you bang it straight on. The Raft, you bang it straight on.
If you don't get that bug where you get that kind of screen in front of your hangar or the cargo lift, the Connie Taurus is actually pretty good, because you can sit in the lower turret and you can actually drag the cargo out. But sometimes you get that bug where you just target the front door and you can't actually get the cargo, so you've got to actually get out and drag it out.
And who was it? Bowler was saying on YouTube, there's people also stealing other people's cargo. Like you'll have like 180 boxes, and they'll just steal one and stuff your whole quest. They will. So and unfortunately,
for the question.
Hang on, there's nothing that you can do to fix that. The Demon Wolf one we've already done, I think. Oh no, that's another one. But
no, there's another one, and he says, will average people have enough time to complete?
Hang on, you've got to address the first question, which was people stealing other people's cargo. So I don't know if you've experienced it, but basically once the cargo lift is up, people can just walk in and they can just take your cargo. It is a massive issue, but I also think it shows that you probably need to have some form of way of defending yourself or fighting people off. And I don't know how they're going to address it. It is a big concern. It legitimately is a big concern. They need some kind of do you just make it so that other people can access other people's cargo? Because that's literally going to destroy the whole immersion thing. But it might be a bit cut for the horse too. They might have other systems that we just don't know of yet.
Yep. Well, the next question, which was after Pissball Pete's, why are you using Hercules when the
you were meant to address it.
Raft is so much
I wanted you to answer that.
Which one?
All right, I'll read it again. So, Bafty Bowler said, we also need a way to stop and propel stealing your cargo when you are trying to load it. Because people are coming along and just stealing other people's cargoes. Do you have any suggestions on how CIG could address people stealing other people's cargo for the event?
Yeah, they have the cannons at the location that shoot you. Auto cannons that shoot you if you're stealing someone's cargo.
That actually surprisingly would work. Yeah, it's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
You're literally stealing cargo off the cargo ramp of a station of someone's legitimate cargo.
So essentially, it's you give them a crime stat, and then the turrets can shoot them. Yeah, I'd actually agree
and
with
then
that.
the turret shoots the crap out of you because you're literally going in broad daylight. Someone's got the cargo, and you're going, yeah, I'm taking that. You're a thief. Bang, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, actually, it should bring up an option to report them, and then if you report them, then they get shot. Yeah. I agree with that. That's the fix.
Well,
yeah.
If you're going to an outpost, and the outpost, and I've hired you to take my cargo, some other bozos, I'm literally watching some other bozo come and take my cargo and load it on their ship instead of yours. That person's stealing my cargo. They're not stealing your cargo, they're stealing my cargo. I'd be wanting to blow you up. I'd be wanting to report you. I'd be wanting to call the cops and get you taken away, or get them taken away. They're not stealing your cargo when they do that mission. They're stealing the outpost cargo so that you can't complete that mission.
Yeah.
Therefore, the outpost says, no, you're a criminal. Bang, you're dead.
So Hook brings up something that is related to what we're talking about here. He says, and the tractor beams only work close to elevators. So when you park outside the range 20 meters or so, you're screwed. So what these people are doing is they'll pick up your cargo box and they just throw it outside the area and you can't pick it back up. But I'll tell you the trick, Hook. You spawn an Atlas at that location because they've obviously got the smaller pads that you can spawn them at almost every single one of them. An Atlas will work. My saving grace is when someone steals my cargo is get an Atlas, because then you can pick the cargo back up and put it in your ship. And guess what? They can't pick it up because they don't have an Atlas. So you just pick it up, carry it all the way into your ship and drop it off, and then it's good. So the saving grace is an Atlas right now. I would say the stopgap is an Atlas, but everything Algared said with the turrets and stuff and the criminal activity, absolutely agree with that. And I would be not surprised if they don't somehow implement something like that in a hot fix. Possible.
Like, that's not beyond the pale. You know, look, you were doing delivery missions for Crusader or ArcCorp for the big corporations. You know, I could imagine them even putting their security forces there to watch them.
Hook, it doesn't work outside the range, but the range of the actual you can be inside the 20 meters. And the Atlas reaches so much further than the normal tractor beam does. I was able to use an Atlas and get it out. And you could also, if it was really that far out, you could probably do it on a ship at a weird angle. Yeah. If you stood on the pad, they work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I stood on the pad and I was able to bring all the cargo boxes back that this guy threw off. And he was getting really pissed. Because in return, once he started stealing my cargo, I destroyed his ship. So he was stranded. And he was sitting there, like, berating me. And I'm like, well, you brought this on yourself, Murphy. So he's just sitting there arguing.
You want to be a griefer, you pay the price.
Yeah. And so he started... he literally threw 2 cargo boxes away, and I just grabbed him back with the Atlas and put him on, and then flew off and just left him there.
Personally, the person who did that, they were you're doing a Hurston mission. You're interfering with Hurston's economy. Hurston would just kill you.
Actually, it'd be really cool.
I think
I know it's sort of stopgap.
What would do the same.
I know it's sort of stopgap, but if you're interfering with their cargo, it would be really cool for that it spawned a bunch of NPCs that come out of the outpost and just shoot them. You know, like a bunch of Hurston Dynamics troops, or ArcCorp or whatever. That'd be kind of cool. But that'll be harder to implement. But it'd be cool.
That's how you do it. If someone's stealing the cargo from the corporation or interfering with the corporation's deliveries and smooth running, they are going to deal with that. And CIG don't have that implemented at the moment, but I could see them having turrets that just either blow the ship up or target the person and just kill them, or they have security forces come out of the closets and take you out.
Look. I'll put this to Pete too, just as a thing. Like, he keeps complaining about the C2 and the Raft. Now you've used the Raft for a while. Go use the C2 for a couple of hours on the same missions, and don't tell me that you don't slightly appreciate the Raft. Because I don't think you couldn't. I think you need to go between 2 of them, or even more of them, and try different ones. Like, just playing the same thing for 24 hours, you're not going to get that contrast. So deliberately try some others interwoven in with the Raft, and you'll see very quickly why people are recommending the Raft. And the Raft does have its issues as well, as does every ship in the game. But for this very specific set of missions, the Raft is hit that niche. So yeah, and I want that was all I was ever trying to get you to see, Pete, was that there are some ships that are just really tailored to certain things, and that is tailored to this mission set. Yeah.
Yep. So going on with that, Demon Wolf's question from way back on Twitch was, will the average player have enough time to complete each of a corpse? And they probably won't, as you were saying earlier. People will run out of time. If it takes about 6 hours to do each one, like 6 hours of game time for each one or each step, you're probably looking at people not having a time in the month to do it.
It might even be longer than that, by the way, because I've done probably close to 3 hours, as I said, and I'm not even at halfway. I'm not at 7.
Yep.
Like halfway would be like, it is like tier 4 almost, and I'm not even at tier 3. So like it's probably going to close to 9 hours per one, or longer.
And at each level, at each step, the amount's increasing as well.
It'd be almost 24 hours per one, actually, if I do the math.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I did in PTU before I left. I did probably 4 or 5 hours in Hurston, and I got halfway. I probably got the first step. I'd have to go back and have a look, but I know it took a lot longer than I was expecting, but it was also quite pleasant.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Pissball Pete says the external cargo is both a blessing and a curse. It makes loading easier, but has exponentially increased the risk of a shitbag sealing it before you're even in the pilot seat, living in a state of perpetual terror. Yeah, 100% agree. That's a fair assessment. But if you also run it without anybody around, it's totally fine. And most cargo people don't want to be stuffed with, so they won't stuff with you. The only people that stuff with you are people that have been stuffed with. Yeah. And generally, I've even had people. This is the weird thing, right? I had like 5 to 10 boxes left on the thing. The guy just comes along and starts pulling my boxes off and dumping them off so then he could bring his cargo up. It actually helped me out, so I didn't give a shit. It was kind of funny. So yeah,
like if you're trying to speed up the offloading, don't toss it off the ramp. Just move it outside the cargo bay so the person can.
So you can pull yours up and you can do yours as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or help other. If you want the ship out of the way, go help them load theirs, and then they'll get their ship out of the way. That's the other thing. Like I've seen, like I said, that photo I saw where everyone was just sitting there waiting. Go help the guy, and it'll speed the queue up. He'll be appreciated because he's going to get out of there sooner, and then he will come back and he'll be at the back of the line, and then he'll help you. So just I actually reckon at some point there's going to be people that are just sitting there at Atlas going, "Need a hand?"
Yep, 100K, and I'll load your ship for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see people doing that.
Oddball says he's already had several people help him out on others. So yes, I've actually got the Twitch up on the screen. It's wonderful. I can see the text and read it, unlike our little screen. So yeah. So it's just weird seeing Twitch in delay.
All right, so we'll actually go back to the first question on YouTube. Well, sorry, Aiden. Aiden says, do you think we have future events like the one we currently have with 4.2.1? As I was thinking while doing it, that the Ironclad would be great ship for this event. I don't know, just curious about that. Yeah, I think they will. And as I said, I hope that they make this permanent. And I said it multiple times now, because of the progression. And I think they need to expand it to every ship in the game. Like, say you buy your new starter ship, whatever that is. So let's say I brought an Intrepid. You go into the game, and then you instantly find out that you can do missions for Microtech, Crusader, etc., and earn a skin for that ship. That is, we've been missing progression this whole time, and they're now at a point where they can do that quite easily. Just take and modify that quest, a couple of months from now or whatever, and just add in the extra skins, but make it for every ship in the game.
And if you do that, and you do that as a literal starter type mission, it actually helps people get the different components on the ships, expand their ship,
Well, it even goes further than that
learn
too.
the game.
Because once you've done it on your Intrepid, don't you then go buy a Spirit or a Cutlass and then do it again? You know, so
Yeah, well, look, when I started doing it on PTU, I started doing it with the Aurora. I started with the Aurora ES and very quickly went, the Aurora ES is just too slow. So I went to the Aurora CL and went, in the Aurora CL's too slow. So then moved to the Connie. And the Connie was great, but even the Connie has issues with the track. You know, if you're too far away from the hangar, you get that kind of weirdness. But yeah, you know, I was quickly changing my ships because of the missions that I was doing were just either too slow, but you could still do them. So you have that progression, and
I do have a hope that they are getting a lot of data bust on cargo off this event, and they'll implement some fixes. I really do. You know, maybe things like the cargo elevators. We know that they wanted to move, for example, to things to self-repair. So maybe this helps them get some data on that. I've had other weird little issues like when you load cargo into the bigger cargo ones in the hangars, there seems to be like this weird barrier in the last two rows where it just won't reach to the last two rows. And so you got to get out of the ship and manually move them. Like it won't work with a tractor beam on a ship.
You almost have that curtain in front.
It's really weird.
That.
Yeah. So there's just lots of little niggly bugs, and this is over multiple ships, by the way. So there's clearly some things that need to be updated, and they like again, the lift works, it's functional, there's no issue there. So it's just a priority problem. But hopefully they get a lot of data, like they can see where people are placing the boxes, and they go, why are they not using these back two rows or whatever? And then they go, oh shit, let's fix that. You know. Again, they're not game-breaking bugs. The elevator ones are game-breaking, right? Because I've had so many people going, I can't even get the starter mission done because the elevator's broken. And I'm going to be, as I said on Pete's stream last night, I don't want to be that guy, but I didn't have any of those issues, right? But the fact that I'm hearing people talking about it means that there are issues, right? So though you might not go through it yourself, there's definitely other people going through it. So elevators are probably the biggest one. And let's be honest, elevators, whether they're human or cargo, have been an issue for a while. And we know they've got that special team now that's working on what they call it, the transport team or something like that. Something like that.
And one of the problems, like the elevators have always been always had persistent problems. You know, they seem to fix it, and then you go to a new patch and it seems to break again. And there just seems to be some niggling line somewhere in the code that just keeps regurgitating it, so it keeps reappearing. But yeah, it is a frustration. But I think I've experienced it once, where cargo moved across, but then didn't come up and it was gone. And that was from my own from my personal hangar loading from a mission. But for these missions, I hadn't had any problems in PTU. But yeah.
Impact Steve says, question, have you seen any streams lately from Badges? They are getting better all the time. No, I haven't. I haven't talked to Badges since CitizenCon, actually. Hope he's doing well. Yeah. And I don't reckon you have Algared because you've been overseas, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yep, I've been...
glad you're enjoying this content.
I have, like I said, I have discovered that our short episodes, not our live stream, but our episodes, are automatically dubbed to Bahasa.
Yeah, well,
which frustrated you this morning because you had it on the background and
YouTube are doing that for everyone. I've been getting, I don't know about everyone else that's watching, but I'm getting recommendations for things that I typically like, but when they're auto dubbed, it just turns me completely off. So I'm getting like other countries that have a lot of subscribers, but I just don't like the fact that they're dubbed. It just the mouth out of sync thing drives me mental. There's a lot of things that drive me mental because I'm pretty mental. So yeah.
I don't argue with that, but the big frustration for me is when you've got, and most streamers it wouldn't be an issue because it's just one person talking, but for us, it's just one voice, and it's really, really disconcerting to hear this conversation from one voice. It's just, but yeah.
So John Chave says, have any
waving to Sandgroper again?
Have any specifics been ironed out for the community best in show? You'd have to talk to Paul on that one because he was the one pushing it, and I don't know if he's made any progress at all. I know he talked about it way back in like February, and I said I was on board, but I haven't really heard anything since. I know that maybe things have changed because he's been like he went to Vegas, for example, so maybe things have changed. He's just also being a school teacher, things catch up with him, so he might have let it slip, so it might not happen. You'll have to bring up a call.
I think the Americans have just entered the new academic year, so he's probably done. But yes, we were talking. He was talking about the Gladiator, and we've talked about the Gladiator as well.
Oh, that's for the actual
one with plug.
Yeah, that's for the best in show. But he wanted to do a community run best in show. That was more,
and that one we don't know
how it should be done.
Advanced.
Yeah. So yeah.
And look, I think ideally it'd be great when we do that. When we push that. No, the 85X doesn't need anything yet, although that's for next year. I think. But the Gladiator is the ship of. I'm arguing with Pete because he says that 85X for 2025, and I think not Gladiator.
I think that's 2026. I said that to him. I said you got to be honest. What do people use more? Now, I don't see the Gladiator very often, but I never see the 85X, right? And no matter what world or school you live in, you'd have to be honest. You're honest with yourself. The Gladiator is more useful than an 85X. But I do want to do the 85X as well, just not this year, next year.
Yeah, look, both the 85X and Gladiator do have some nice lore, but I think the Gladiator's lore in game is far more, the story behind the Gladiator is far more enticing than the story of the 85X.
It's a preferential thing too, because last year we pushed the Terrapin. The Terrapin was just in a better state, so we pushed the Terrapin. This year we'll put the Gladiator, and next year I'll be pushing the 85X as well. I'll make sure every single ship in the game gets a skin. The way it should be. They should have done it themselves. We shouldn't have to be pushing them. They should be just doing it.
And I get Demon Wolves, any ship under $100 should be pushed, and I'd like to see that. The Gladiator, yes, it's above $100, but it is a ship that it's one of the iconic ships of Star Citizen. One of the iconic ships of Star Citizen. One of the ships that was used early on in promotions. It's a ship that's got some really cool art. It's a ship that's got a story of legends, and yet it's often ignored. And I think part of it is due to the issues with modularity and other stuff.
Yeah, Pete's saying he's never seen anyone in a Gladiator. Well, I know that's true because I've seen people in Gladiators. I've been one of them. I've seen Algared in Gladiators, and I've seen other people in Gladiators, but I've never seen an 85. I will give you this: it's extremely rare. But I've seen people I've seen, it's only like one or two people, but I've seen people. But I've never, and I mean ever, the only time I've ever seen an 85X is like when someone rocks up in an 890 jump and it's just sitting in their hangar. And it's pretty rare. Even then, they put something usually bigger these days. Yeah.
Look, I've used the 85X, but it's not my favourite ship. I'd rather take I'd probably take an Aurora over the 85X.
It's a snub. It is literally designed to take you down to the planet instead of taking the whole big shebang down. It provides a role, but again, when you look at a Gladiator that's a combat vehicle, it's actually got a function besides just going from A to B, and that becomes a priority or thing. And when you do the priority order, unfortunately, the 85X just drops off. It'll be next year. We'll do it next year, Pete. Don't worry.
And the 85X, yes, it was originally designed as a snub. It was originally designed as a snub for the 890 jump, and when they created it got the treatment that the Pisces got. Which was supposed to be a snub for the.
Technically speaking, the Pisces is a snub. Do you know what I mean? So things have changed quite a lot. Like a lot of the ships were not meant to have jump drives, and they've just backpedaled on that like crazy. Because a lot of the smaller ships, like the 100i, was not meant to have a jump drive. It now has a jump drive, And they didn't, when it was first modeled, they had all the other components, but they didn't have room for the jump drive. Then they went back and added room for the jump drive. The jump drive's in a really weird spot. It's like on the side of the nose, because one of the only spaces they had left. So yeah. I do have another question here from Stimpack Steve. It says on YouTube, yeah. He says, but I need context, right? So he says, question, any thoughts on Alpha 4.2.1 ship offers on the pledge store? What ones are you talking about specifically, there Stimpack? Are you talking about the patch bundles? Are you talking about just the generalized ships that are available because there's a sale? Like I kind of just need a little bit of context, because I'm gonna be honest with you, these patch bundle ships, they don't make no sense. It's not really a mining event, it's a hauling event. And the other part that I'd say is the ship is already orange and you offer 3 shades of metallic orange. Yeah, and then you want 25. The other thing I'll say is you notice how they're getting cheaper every time. They were $30, then they were $27, now they're $25. We're just going to keep not buying them and just watch them drop. Because they're literally dropping them by like $2.50 every time. They're trying to find the sweet spot. I'll tell you what the sweet spot's going to be. Like $10, because they're skins. And again, they're all going to be free in-game eventually. You're trying to monetize stuff that is temporary. And people are seeing right through it, and they're not going to buy it. Unless they, you're picking ships that people don't use either. I'm sorry, but the Mole is nowhere near as popular as the Prospector.
Look, as Sangrapper says, a patch bundle with a Raft would have made more sense than the Mole
for
the cargo hauling mission.
Absolutely.
When you do this type of mission for mining, go and mine these resources to help. Then do the Mole. This for cargo hauling?
This shows me that they don't know what they're selling. They've just picked the ship at random. And you look at the other ships that they've done, right? The only one that I kind of think is kind of been half popular was the Spirit, but it was bright fucking yellow. The Aegis ones were really cool, but they're for the Vanguard, and the Vanguard is a little bit out of favor at the moment. It comes and goes, all right. And the one before that was the Corsair. I'm gonna be honest, the only one that I brought was the Corsair, but at that time it was also the first, but it was also one of the coolest ones done because it was black and gold. It was good. It was a good color scheme. It had the good armor, and I again, I would look at the stats and go, why did it do so well? Because you picked a popular ship. Again, if you'd made this a Prospector, I think it would hit different. But not only that, like you're saying, Algared, do it to the event that you're talking about. It's silly. Yeah. You know,
target. But yes, okay, you want to sell the Mole. Sell them all.
So Hook 205
when you're
says
doing a mining event.
Hook says 205 says mining is part of the mission. Yeah, it is, but I wouldn't say it's the predominant part of the mission. This is predominantly a hauling mission. It is predominantly a cargo-based event. Probably the first one we've had too. And you don't pick a cargo ship as the patch bundle? That's a bit weird. And we have had more dedicated mining events. Save those skins for the mining event.
Yeah, mate. And it's true, it is that you can go mining and do stuff for it, but it's not, as you said, it's not the primary focus of his event. It's 90% of the missions are go and haul, go to this station and get this cargo and take it up here or take it there. It's not the mining. If the main focus of this event is mining, then it'd
be like doing the orbital assault one. And then all of a sudden and this is probably not as bad actually as I think it was, and then doing a medical ship as the skin for that. You know, it would have been weird. It just, I don't know. It's just like, how do you not know your own game that you're marketing? And again, I come back to the video we did with marketing. This just reeks of them not understanding their own product.
Well, if the focus is to try and push a ship that's not selling well, what cargo ship's not selling well? I'd have used that one. If the Raft isn't selling, I'd have bundled it with the Raft as Stan Groper said on Twitch. If the main focus is mining, I'd use the Mole. But yeah, it's some things just don't seem to make sense.
I can't see any feedback from Stimpack Steve, so I don't know exactly what he's talking about. But I'm going to see if there's any answer their call. Oh god. Yeah. See how they favor Microtech? It appears twice. See? Biased.
Yeah.
Is there any ships down here? All right. So let's go through. Atlas, yeah, that makes sense. Right, I'll give you that one. Geo, no. That again, like, why would you do it in a Geo when you can do it in a ship? Because it's all about SCU account. Why the hell would you be doing it in a Geo? You'd want the max amount of cargo possible. So again, the mold does make more sense in that regard. Arrow, yes, technically. Yes, technically. C1, yeah, that's a lot better. What the? No. There's no bounty hunting. Yes. Yes. But not so much, because how do you pick it up from the locations that can't land on planet? Oh my God. I haven't thought this through. Yes. 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 What? You can't even do reclaim? You can't even do salvage part of the quest line. Yes, technically, but that is in such a bad spot. But yes, that's why you're selling it. Wow. Okay, there's some really bad choices in there. Like really, really bad. Yeah.
You can use the reclaimer to do cargo, but it's I wouldn't have put it into that.
So I would have had Freelancer Max there instead of that. I'm sorry. This ship has just landed with absolute thud, because once you start using it, you realize it's got massive issues, because you've essentially made that choke point on the back of the ship by making it such a narrow space. It's so hard to get the boxes in. But you had to do that because you didn't want it to be able to take bigger vehicles, and because of that, it has a massive issue. The only way you could fix that is somehow like open the roof or something like that, and you load it in via the roof or something. I'm just not a fan of the ship's pokeability. I know they wanted it to feel that way, but it just doesn't hit right.
Pete says the combat ships make sense for piracy.
Absolutely.
On the other side, Pete, the combat ships make sense in terms of the defend missions, which are part of this as well. But
Pete, you'd have to agree, Pete, that this should predominantly be cargo hauling ships, and they're not even the best cargo haulers in the game. Like the Raft is the only one that. Like, where's the Hercules? You and I were just talking about that before. Pete would say he would only use a Hercules to this. Well, where the hell is it, Pete? It's not there. That's my point. Where's the Aurora that they've got? Where's all the 9 ships that they have the skins for? Where's the Caterpillar? Where's the Aurora? The Raft is there? The Spirit is there? The Starlance is not there? Hercules is not there? Is there any others I'm missing? Out of those 9 that have skins? Take the 9 ships with the skins and sell them, you idiots!
Yeah, I would have certainly made the rewards for the mission, where I've got skins as rewards for the missions. They're the ships I would have been selling.
Yeah, you're literally promoting. You're literally promoting someone to buy them and then go earn the skins for them, and you've removed that for half the ones you didn't sell.
And I'd be looking at making. And I'd be making sure I was having ships that really were tailored to the missions that are available, or the main missions. So I'd certainly be looking at my cargo mission, my cargo ships. I'd certainly be making sure I had the ships that had the skins as rewards. I'd certainly be making sure I had. It just seems that sometimes it's just hit and miss.
Again, to Pete's point of piracy, where the hell is the Mantis for sale? Why is the Mantis not for sale? And I'll tell you why the Mantis is not for sale. Because they made it the Meteor twice the price, and it's the first time one of the side variants, the skins haven't worked. So when you had the Valkyrie come out, or the Asgard, the Valkyrie skins were backwards compatible. The Prowler utility was backwards compatible. Guess what? The Meteor skins, they're not backwards compatible. Why? Yeah. Because people were just going to buy the skins and not get the Meteor. So they're trying to use the skins to encourage people to buy the Meteor. Because they know it's going to land with an absolute thud.
Yep.
I guarantee there'll be people that pick up the Meteor and then they melt it a month later. Guaranteed. Or they get a refund. Or they bought it with credit.
The Meteor looks like it looks awesome, but there's just things about it that just that do niggle with me. And one is the price.
Read what 90 said on Twitch. That's some said, the 90's $100, the Mantis is $150. I'll buy that instead. If I wanted to buy a ship that looked like a Mantis, I wouldn't spend double the money and buy a Meteor. If you got rocks in your head, no, just buy a bloody Mantis.
Yep. Unless you're a disco who wants to use a Mantis for stuff that it's not geared for combat. And I know that I want a heavy fighter in, but I wanted to see the Mantis used for other, that platform used for combat or other stuff. But
this, have you ever seen this episode of The Simpsons? That's what they've done. That's what they've done. Now, I know they haven't done that because Disco probably just happened to see it and go, I like this ship, right? That's what it feels like.
Look, I know Disco really likes the Mantis. We know that he wants to be able to do, try and take the Mantis to do combat missions or other stuff.
Mm.
And the Mantis in a combat mission is just not going to cut it with its pea shooters. And upgunning it the way the Meteor is great for those missions. But the price just, If
it's a medium fighter, what's the most expensive medium fighter you can think off the top of your head? It'd have to be the Super Hornet, yeah? Right? And that's become kind of expensive. That's why they put it at the $240 price point. Because the new Mark, they priced it like a brand new Mark II. That's why it's $240. I'm sorry, you should never have priced the new Mark IIs at that price. You priced yourself into a stupid corner. It's why we don't recommend fighters, because they're just so aggressively priced because they have all their gameplay. But yes, they do have all the gameplay, but so does every other fighter. And you've now got so many of them that you've just priced yourself into absurdity. Why we tell people to avoid them?
Demon says, look, Demon Wolf makes a comment. Crazy, we go from steel to saber to this. And
yeah, absolutely.
I got to say that the Meteor feels like a new steel. I hated the steel because it was just so disgustingly overpriced. I hated the steel because it was so upgunned. It was a Drake ship that's upgunned, that's already upgunned again. I hated it because it took the cargo out and put 50 seats in it. This is the reverse. It takes an RSI ship and upguns it to the wazoo, reduces the shielding, and doubles the price. It's just insane.
So Pete's saying, I like it. I just don't get a chance to use it because I'm stuck using a Raft. No, you can go use the Meteor. You can go, the deal was you've just got to use it for 24 hours. It wasn't in one block. You can go use the Raft. I even encourage you to do so, to try it out when I was with you last night. But you wanted to do the Raft. So that's on you. The Meteor is 240, mate. A 220 war bond.
So it's exactly double the price.
It's the same price as what the Scorpius was. The Scorpius was 220 war bond and then 240 afterwards. So it's again, you put it against their own product. Why the hell would you want a Meteor versus a Scorpius? It's just it's so niche, right? It's someone that wants a medium fighter that acts like a heavy fighter in the gun department. So you're basically you're wanting way more maneuverability, and then these really niche guns that you can't change. It is literally it's the whole Eclipse problem, where it's a super niche thing that you're gonna really have to be the Peregrine Truth is another thing. You have to really be in racing. You have to be really into that niche little dynamic. So it just makes it far less appealing. It's not generalized. It's a niche fighter. And anything that goes super niche that we already have a lot of just always lands badly. It's gonna land better than the Peregrine 2 because it's not racing. I'll give it that. But it's, again, man, I'd be going, if I wanted to really know how this thing lands, I'd go to someone like Avenger 1. One of those people that do the PvP all the time, and he'll dissect it and pull it apart and tell you exactly what it's good for and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, no ship is perfect. That thing is going to have weaknesses out the butthole. One of the things to look at is the bespoke gun fires twice every time it fires. It's got 240 ammo count. So because it fires twice, it only has 120 shots. That is not a lot of ammo. It's really small. You're going to be going back a lot. If you're out on a long mission, you're going to run out of ammo. Yes, that's why it also has the 4 size 3s. But yeah, you add all the things together. A lot of these side gradients, because they feel kind of rushed or pushed into, oh, we need to make this ship to teach somebody, they just don't feel as thought out as the others. And it's felt like that for the last 12 months. I keep saying this, Eric, the only 2 ships that I've kind of really enjoyed is the Golem and the Polaris. That's it. Everything else has just kind of been... Idris was great to see it finally get out, but let's be honest, it got long in the tooth because we'd been seeing it for 10 years. That's not to lessen its release. It's just that I didn't have the fanfare because I'd seen it all before, right? So yes, I'll put that up there as a honorable mention.
Yep.
But everything else is just everything from the Starfarer and every single side grade just feels like it's been shoehorned as shit. And so I think you'd agree with me though, yeah? They're not up to the normal quality standards.
Yep. Sangraper's question comes in relating to a price. And he says, CIG always said that as the game got closer to release, the prices would increase in ships. Does the pricing of those questions, does the pricing of the Meteor reflect that? Now, my understanding was purchasing the ships in game, yes, that was the price was going to increase, but the price to purchase the ships in game was going to be astronomically more expensive than what it is to buy them with cash.
And again, in-game, look at the in-game pricing, right? Any of those ships that are around the $250 price point, then go look at the other ships that are around the $250 price point and tell me which ones cost more in-game. Corsair, an MSR, or a Connie are leagues more expensive than any of those fighters. Like most of those fighters are a couple of mil at best. Like I'd have to go look at the exactly most expensive one, but they're like 3 to 4 mil in there type of thing. You go get a Connie, they go up to much higher margins, like over 10 mil type of thing. Some of them.
And that's the issue, isn't it? Like the price of those bigger ships in game that have the same real cash price is so much more expensive in game. Why on earth would I consider getting a fighter that I can buy cheaply in game when I can get a ship that is going to take me going to be so much harder to earn in game? It in a sense, it's that buy big, earn down.
So here we go.
Attitude.
Let's have a look at some of them, right? So we got Mark 1s here. Some of this data is going to be out of date, obviously. So right, because it's older stuff. Let's have a look at here. We've got a C1 Spirit is 3 mil. It's $125 ship. Then let's see. It doesn't have the Corsair here. This is very out of date. Doesn't even have the Corsair. This is probably a really bad example because it's out of date. Scorpius, there you go, 5 mil, right? Constellation Andromeda, 10 mil. Kind of proves my point there already. They're both around the same price, in the same ballpark, literally double the price.
Why pay money the same price for a Scorpius that I can pay for the Andromeda when the Andromeda is going to cost me so much more to earn in game? And that is really, if you're looking at why we've always said sell your fighters, buy the big ships and earn down. It's the in-game price we're talking about.
There's another one, Starlancer Max, 8 mil, right? Which also means the Connie's better than the Starlancer Max, according to the developers. Because again, marketing and design, this is what it's actually going to be worth in game versus what marketing can get away with. This is why we always look at the in-game pricing. And again, I think these are out of date because, as I said, like the core, I'm pretty sure the Corsair's not even here on the list. Oh no, there it is, 6.5 mil. So that is cheaper because it's Drake. But even then, that's still more expensive than the Scorpius, which was at 5 point something. So they are starting to cross-pollinate a little bit when you get to the lower end, but still, you've got to start to look at the in-game pricing. And Drake ships are notoriously cheap compared to others.
Well, even when you look at that in-game pricing of ships, I think when you're looking at the cash value of a ship, I think you also want to look at what gameplay you've got. You know, you get the Connie over the Meteor, or a ship similar price, you've got greater gameplay, you've got multi-person, you've got. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
There you go. Mecha Starrunners 12 mil. You know, what's some other heavy fighters? Ares, there we go. Ares, 5 mil. You know, what's another one? Scorpius, won't have the Meteor on there yet. Let's look at the Mantis.
Hurricane.
Oh yeah, we'll do that one. Mantis. So the Mantis is 3.4. Hurricane should be cheap. Oh no, 5.5. Holy shit, it's about the same price. Ironically, that's very close to the Scorpius. Really? Are you serious? Holy shit, it's 5.4. Wow, they're almost the same. And how's that for weird? There's a weird one for you. The Interis costs more than the Scorpius. Just shows you how backwards things are, and yet that's like $25 cheaper. And it's the same thing. It's the 600i does this too. It has the Explorer and Touring, but in game they're the opposite from the real world. As in, they're more expensive. Yep. It's weird shit.
It was really, you know, when that price differential came in, and we really started to realize that.
You see really quickly here, just looking
at the value of the ships and
just looking at the vehicles. This is why we don't recommend vehicles at all. Look how cheap they all are. You know, you talk about a perceived value. Well, this is why we look at this shit, because you quickly go, I'm not going to buy that shit because they're ripping me blind. Yeah. Yes, you are supporting development, but you want people to feel good in their purchases. And this don't make you feel good. This makes you feel ripped off.
So what's a $60 cash value Centurion worth in game?
I think the Centurion's more than $60, isn't it?
I'm going on memory.
Well, let's just double. I know the most expensive one's the Ballista at $140. So let's do the Ballista, huh? Just because that's the one I know off the top of my head, because I know I've already memorized. So that's 1.4 mil. That's actually ridiculous, because it's actually, well, let's look at the other one. The one we looked at before was the Spirit, and that was that's $125. So that's actually cheaper, but it's it's double the price. It's ridiculous.
So I can buy a Spirit that's cheaper than the Ballista.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder to earn in game.
Yeah.
And with and I can do much more gameplay with that ship. Whereas the Ballista can't even get off planet. It needs to be put into a bigger ship.
That's the key point. Harder to earn. So again, going back to Andromeda and the Meteor or something like that, right? What's going to be easy to earn? The cheaper thing, easily.
The cheaper thing in game. So you go, well, if I've got $140 to spend, I'm going to spend it on the ship. You know, theoretically, if you're looking at what's going to help my progression, you spend it on the ship that's going to be easiest to or hardest to earn, and then earn the cheap shipping game.
And this is why we recommend bigger ships, because even if you go just the step above, so you go from Connie. So Connie's like what? God, I can't remember my pad size is from my head. Yeah, something like S3, and then you go up to S4. So you go into your Hercules, your Ironclads. Look at the price jump, right? You go to 18 mil, so it's almost doubled what the Connie was. And then if you go to the M2 there, I had the M2 there. The M2 jumps almost another 10 mil again to 29. It's almost every $100 you're going up, it's actually going up by like another, another 10 mil. You know, you can see why we recommend to you guys, because also the multiple locations, like the whole thing that you talk about, Agar, with the multiple vultures compared to the Reclaimer. So let's do that one. That's a really good example. Reclaimer, right? 31.7 mil, and the Vulture is 2.6 mil. How in what universe do they not? Oh my god! Because like, what was it? 2.5 Vultures is. So let
cash price.
Yeah, so let's just do that and just show you how off balance it is, off kilter. I'm doing it on a calculator. I know you guys can't see, but 2.64600. I did a point in the wrong spot. Sorry, 2.64600 times what? 2.5 times 2.5, and I've got 6,615,000, right? as opposed to the reclaimer that's sitting at 31 mil. Well, it's off by, let's just divide that. So let's go, I'll just copy this. Yeah, let me copy it. I'm going to open another calculator. Stuff this, I'll do it again. So it's 31,752,000 divided by 6615000 equals 4.8. It's off by a kilter of 4.8, almost 5 times more valuable than getting the Vulture.
And yet, the cargo space on the Vulture is significantly inferior to the reclaimer, and it's even worse than that because the cargo space is so small.
Well, you worked out to be you need 16 Vultures to equal the one reclaimer.
But it's even worse than that. Like, yes, you needed that, but you can't put the larger items. You can't if you salvage a. If you got your 16 Vultures, and you go and salvage a
so you're essentially describing the problems.
Eclipse, you can't.
The problems multiply out. Yeah. It'd be interesting to do this when they finally bring in a medium salvage. Does it lessen? And I think it will. I think you'd agree. It will lessen.
I would hope it would lessen.
Yeah.
But you take your Vulture to salvage an Eclipse. You crack the hull. You get to the point where you can get to the torpedoes. The torpedoes do not fit in the Vulture. You cannot salvage the big torpedoes in a Vulture.
Yeah. Again,
so you're losing your salvage.
Yeah. So this is why we're trying to push you guys to get one big ship instead of lots of small little ones. And again, there are exit strategies. If you really like that Meteor, for example, buy the Meteor, but have an exit strategy to turn it into something else. So when the game goes live, you are getting the best value possible. You are limiting the amount of grind that you have to do. And kind of one of the ways we remember how resistant John was for a long time. He just wanted his prospector, but then when he got the concept of like, well, if I have an Orion or an Arastra or something like that, I can very quickly earn back and get that plus all these other little ships. And once you understand how it works, it's not about us trying to force you into ships that you don't want or anything like that. It's just trying to take your money, make it go further, and get all the ships that you wanted and more for less.
And I know people will say, but I want the grind. I want to do that.
Then do it.
And work my way up.
Then don't. Sure. Yeah, don't.
I get that.
Then don't do what we say. Do what you want. And we never say do what we say. We're just saying this is how you can get more for less.
And Hook, yes, the reclaimer does need exterior cargo doors to open. Yes, it's got problems. But even with the reclaimer, I can go, and I've used the reclaimer for salvage. I've used it quite a lot in the last month.
I think he's missing the point. We're trying to explain value on. You need to look at ships that in their final state, not where they are right now. Hook. So you take any other ship. So take something that's not out yet, like an Orion, and put it against a Prospector. It still does the same thing. Right, like no matter what, pick 2 ships that don't exist yet, and remove the state they're in right now. Because let's be honest, they're all going to be a lot better than they are right now.
But even in its current state, I can take the reclaimer and I can go and salvage, and I can load those size 9 torpedoes onto my reclaimer lift and take it up and put it in the cargo bay. I cannot do that. It's impossible to do that. On your Vulture, you need to have a second ship or a second cargo ship can do that.
You're restricted by its functionality.
Why take a Vulture over a reclaimer?
Yeah, you're restricted by its size and functionality. Well, we haven't even got to other things yet. Like you've got to use blast charges to blow ships apart in a Vulture. You don't have the lasers. And exactly. There are other things to come in here as well. And you don't have the gun complement. You don't have the facilities. You don't have the long range ability. Like there's so many other factors. And once you start to pull them all together, it just makes so much sense to get the bigger ship.
The other thing is also in the Vulture, you'll come to some ships and the ship is just too big for you to crack. So you can't fracture it. You can only strip it. You can't fracture it. Going to reclaim it, you don't have a problem. Every ship you can fracture. And so very quickly, I started using the Vulture. I was using the Vulture for salvage, and I quickly went no. And part of the reason was I was doing it solo. I said no, I don't want to be swapping seats all the time because of the pain in the butt. But it was just so restricting in what I could do in the Vulture. But I actually went to reclaim it and put up with the hassle of changing seats and doing all of the stuff I was trying to avoid, because I could actually do the things I wanted to do and in a reclaimer, and I could carry more, and I could do it. Just I very quickly tossed the Vulture. And you look at the price, and then you look at the real world price of a Vulture versus a reclaimer, and like I said, two Vultures or 2.5 Vultures to reclaim price of a reclaimer, and I can get so much more in a reclaimer and storm so much cargo. And to me, the reclaimer just ended up just winning hands down.
All right, I got two.
Why would you use a Vulture if you've got an option to use a reclaimer?
All right, I got 2 questions here from social.
Over.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. I understand, and I agree with you. Socially Confused has a very short one here. He says, "Have you run into any problems, grapes, or bugs?" Well, we kind of went over that, so I'm going to skip that one and go into his next question. And actually makes a lot of sense. Actually, would remove a lot of problems. He says here, "Why weren't the distribution centers used for this event? Each one has around 8 elevators and some instanced hangars." Makes so much sense. Oh my god!
And CIG created the distribution centers for that type of stuff. So I would have expected distribution centers to do that as well.
Algared, they need to hire a council of common sense, or just like run shit past a bunch of people that play the game and go, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Why didn't you do this? Like, it just feels like, and I know you guys are people at CIG, but it just feels like you are slightly out of touch with your own community at the moment. It's really weird.
On Twitch, Robert JT says because only 2 corps have them.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so
then slap some new paint and drop down some new distribution centers.
Or for the corporations that do have those, for Hurston Dynamics that has them, have them operate from those centers for Hurston Dynamics. Use what you've got to actually leverage and check out what's going on with those.
So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They just didn't have enough time to implement it because they would have had to make more corps. All right, benefit of the doubt given. But still, yeah, he's right. It would have been better though.
I can see it being better, but even I could also see if I use the Hurston Dynamics distribution centers and ArcCorp that doesn't have them, I do that system. I can actually then gauge. I can actually see the gameplay applying to the different assets we've got in game. Is it working? Is it worth developing further? So yeah, right. Maybe I'm just being pedantic.
Yeah.
So Citizen John is gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Thank you, Citizen John.
Good to see you back, John. John's been having cankle problems, so he said to put up his feet.
That's no good.
Yeah, but he's coming back slowly. I think he was having problems with the event at the start, so I'm hoping he kicks off because this is an event that's kind of tailored to some of the stuff that he does. So good to see him back, and I know his other friends have been worried about him as well. So yeah. All right.
So Wolf Blitzer, hang on.
Well, I've got something up here.
Just race it away. I was just going to go through the people who got the CitizenCon. So Wolf Blitzer, Sangroper, Thundernix, has on 2Z, and Ice Cold Joe 42. You've just received a tier 1 sub from Citizen John, so give him a thanks.
Yeah, please.
And thanks again, John.
Thank you, John. Right. Question from Stimpack Steve, who says, "Question: Do you, if you do the event, do you keep your rewards after a wipe?" Yeah, you do. They actually get applied in your hangar like this, so you can see where I'm up to on the Hurston stuff. And so if I do all of Hurston, there'll be 5 sets there. So 5 by 4.
Yep.
You're going to be filling up your inventory pretty quick.
And the stuff that's in your hangar is stuff you keep.
You melt some of these off. Hold on. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And hi, John, and good night, John.
Yeah. Are you going to? Oh, yeah. It's John. 1 a.m. for John, so he's going to bed. See you, mate. Yep. So, yeah. We do have a Meteor here to give away. I'm probably going to chuck that on the buyer's guide, Algared, unless you've got a better idea.
Yep. No, I think chucking it on the buyer's guide is a good thing. 100% agree with that.
It has got some very nice skins, but it really sucks that they limit it to just the Meteor, to be honest. I think I've got a very sneaking suspicion down the road, like like a month or so from now, when they've sold all the Meteors, it'll just mysteriously start working on the Mantis, because they didn't do that with the other ships, but they for some reason did it with this one. So yeah. Right. Let's close that question from Stimpack Steve. Artemis TGM's this question: have you guys played? Hang on, give me a second. Have you guys played the new 2.3 Cyberpunk update? The devs added 3 new vehicles, highly detailed supercars for free. CRG would never. I did play Cyberpunk back at the start of the year. I have not played the latest update, but I probably should. You gonna say, Algared?
Oh, that's you did play Cyberpunk. I can remember watching you play Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I've watched Execute play it.
Mm.
I remember the time when we were going through the city and the city looked alive.
Mm.
I went, wow, this is really good. And then you were doing something and you looked up.
Yeah.
And because you'd been standing there so long, all the characters have disappeared.
Yeah.
It was just.
It can be
like
very immersion breaking. Like you literally, like, there's a whole crowd. You turn and face a wall, and then turn back, and then the crowd is just all gone. So there are some, there's still some things to fix there.
Yeah. It's a bit like the Star Citizen problems. You know, you go in Star Citizen when the game's pumping, the NPCs are moving around and doing stuff, and then you come back and the NPCs are still there, but now they're sitting on the chairs or standing on the chairs in T-pose.
Well, it's also a multiplayer game versus a single player game, so they're going to handle things differently, you know. So obviously all those resources of people walking behind you are just not needed, but by the same token, they need to be able to spin up when you look at them. Real problem.
Now Robert does say that doesn't happen anymore in terms of the.
It's good.
I'm assuming he's talking about the characters standing on the chairs. No,
he's probably talking about. He's probably actually talking about the crowd stuff, because again, they have, to their credit, they've been going back and really improve. It's a little bit like what happened with No Man's Sky. They're doing that, but it just should never have been released in the state. And unfortunately, like I can think of a whole bunch of games that they were just released in a shithouse state. Dark Tide's another one. It's taken them 3 years to get that back to where it should have been at release. 3 years. That's insane.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Like, these are games that are sold as AAA video games, and they're crap. They're laden with bugs and other stuff. And
really good video. I think it was so Critical Drinker has a thing called, I think he has a channel called Critical Gamer. Critical Gamer. Yeah, there. So we can bring this up real quick. Not that I need to be pumping a guy that's got multiple million subscribers, but he did this really cool video. I think I'm gonna find it real quick. This one here, while modding gaming sucks, you own nothing and you're not happy. Highly recommend that as a watch if you know, like, he literally nails it right on the head. The problem with all the games and stuff like that, he talked about the time back, like, you remember back when we were kids and stuff, like with the PlayStation, the Nintendo 64s, and even before then, like the NES and the Mega Drive and all that type of stuff. You just put it in, you played, you owned your game, you could do whatever you want with it. And now they're turning them off and just killing them off and forcing you. Look at the FIFAs. They've now got it so down that they just have a FIFA every year and they force you onto the next one. You buy all this monetization, you buy all these skins, and then next year every single skin that you brought just doesn't work and you have to buy it again. It's not like they make all the skins and it goes from FIFA to FIFA to FIFA like it should. They literally, you buy it and it only lasts for 12 months. And then they kill it and you have to buy it again. So they've essentially made these fake digital economies that you just have to keep repetitively buying.
Now, I got the impression that was one of the things Chris hated as well.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things I understood Chris doesn't want Star Citizen to do.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, but that's my impression with.
There's a really cool
with Star Citizen versus other stuff. So
there's a really cool Black Mirror episode, right? And in this episode, and I can't remember, I think it's in the latest season. It might even be the very first episode. I'd have to go back and look at it, right? Yeah. But there's this couple, right? And what happens is the wife has this condition where she's literally going to be brain dead, right? and through this new technology, they can give her like an artificial digital part of her brain, like they can record, they can move her brain, that part of her brain, over to a cloud, like a cloud service, and and she can stay alive. If she doesn't do it, she's just dead. And so they essentially move them over to it. And then what they do is it's on a subscription service. And then over time, and this is happening in video games, it's happening in Amazon Prime, Netflix, all of them. They are started out as an ad-free service, and then all of a sudden the service you're on has now become a service that's the ad tier, and you've got to buy the tier above to not get ads. And then they'll do this. Right, and that's exactly what they're doing in the real world. So what happens in this though is it's a service that it's her brain, and if they don't pay for that service, he dies. And what they ended up doing was that they essentially make them sleep more, because the more they sleep, the more their brain power can be used to power other things. And then they also make it so that when she'll just randomly start spitting out ads, and because she's a school teacher, she'll start spitting out ads in the middle of class and stuff, so she loses a job, because she can't be doing that around kids. Like, she just can't start being biased and start like trying to sell products to kids. So it sounds like a real insane thing, right? And it is social media taking it to the insane, those Black Mirror episodes, but it just shows you how insane the world is that we already live in, that we're literally being sold these artificial environments and then being made to buy them again. There is no permanency in the world at all. And again, I know Star Citizen, and again, like you're saying, Chris is trying to build a permanent digital world, but eventually, years from now, we are going to pass away, or the servers are going to shut down, and all this is going to go bye-bye.
Yep, eventually one day it will happen. Now, I know Chris wants it to be there for a game, and one of the things that struck me when we were at CitizenCon, when we were talking to some of the staff, and the one was the Australian guy, and he said the thing that really, and I got the impression it was something that really blew him away, was it wasn't that Chris was just building the game that he always wanted to build, but it was also building the company he always wanted to work in.
Yeah.
And it feels very rare to see people really take that positivity and push for that. Not only a good game, but also a good workplace. So,
he literally said it's the best place he's ever worked. And he also talked about, like, most of the people that were complaining about the workplace people were new people to the company that had never done crunch before. Crunch is just an unfortunate way about how, when you've got a whole team of people working that has to work to a deadline, they have to all pull in to get it to the deadline. And if anyone that you've ever done teamwork before, no matter the thing, like some other companies don't have such a hard deadline, but if you don't hit that date, there are so many financial repercussions that it can destroy the company.
I've said it before. It's just like teaching. Teaching, when report time comes or exam time comes, you've got a deadline. Reports have to be up by X date. You've got to crunch, and you've got to bust your gut to get it done. Doesn't matter. But then once that's done, the pressure goes.
I feel COVID.
You get those crunch times, and every profession has that type of stuff to some degree.
So Hook 2005 is talking about a hard copy of Star Citizen. Yeah, they will do it. It won't be the initial, but they are going to do it later. But I'm thinking we didn't learn the lessons we needed to learn from the pandemic and COVID. Like here in Australia, I've talked about this on the stream before, when we couldn't get masks and the cleaning swipes and stuff like that, these factories have been sitting there since the 60s. They spun them all back up to do that. But again, I've just started to look at all these things in my life that I'm so reliant on digitally that if like an EMP came or we got sent back to the Stone Age, look at all that stuff that's going to be lost. Yeah. Like I've said to Algared before, they need to make a book, like a hard copy book that you can buy that is like the world. When I pitched it to you, I said it was really weird. I said, like, what's the book you would take if you got set back in time? Like all the scientific discoveries, like how, like as simple as how concrete is made, to
You
like how
really
to
want to
penicillin, like all that type of shit.
Yep.
That needs to be written down and saved somewhere in a hard copy, because if the shit hits the fan and we are reset to 0, we're gonna have to do that all again. And there are no hard copies. Nobody's kept them.
It's interesting you say that. The 1950s movie, The Time Machine. The guy goes forward in the future, goes to a place where you know,
sorry, Cupid.
Bad. But when he eventually comes back and disappears for good, he takes several books with him.
1 second. The G Cupid says the foundation. That is literally what we need. We need a hard copy foundation. And I know they're doing it with certain things like plant seeds. There's a massive vault in Iceland where they're holding all these plant seeds, and they are trying to do these hardcore copy vaults. But they need to do that. And I'm not just talking in one location. I'd have like every country should have a hard copy place, because again, if something happens, like say a massive war breaks out and the whole of Australia gets wiped out except Tasmania, as an example, how do you rebuild civilization? You know, you could take a trip from Tassie and go somewhere and pick up that hard copy, but you're not going to be able to live there because there's just no resources there. So I know this sounds crazy, right? But why, as a species, do we not have a species backup plan? It sounds really weird to me. Anyway, sorry. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but this is really strange to me.
But that was the type of thing that was seen in the movie The Time Machine back from the 1950s. You know, the guy goes back goes forward in time. Everything's a mess. Yeah. Comes back, picks up 3 books or 4 books, and takes them back with him. And yes, Pete, one of the books he takes back is the Bible, and that's one of the ones I'd take. Now I know other people would have different views, but you know, that's one of the foundational books, I think. You know, but yeah.
Well, digital is to companies' benefits because they can hold all the data and lord it over us. They can hold the knowledge, and let's be honest, as the older guys here, that we grew up with the hard copy stuff and we've transitioned into digital. How many younger people in the younger generations, they don't even know? I had this guy the other day that said to me, "How did you guys get places before GPS?" He hadn't even mentally in his head that they had paper maps. He had not, like, he knew books existed. I said, "You don't know what a book is?" And he goes, "Yeah, but
we had a Gregory's."
He couldn't make the mental connection.
Yeah, we had a Gregory's and we knew how to read maps.
In another, like once we're dead, right, and it gets to them, so like 60, 70 years from now, we're doomed, because it'll be all the people that have the knowledge will lord it over the people that don't, and they'll never give them the answers. So they're essentially digitally resetting everyone to the Stone Age. And they're just going to have all the control and all the pallage and all the manufacturing power, all those mum and dad shops. Like, think about like how you've seen it already with older relatives that had all that cooking knowledge and they've passed away and nobody can make it. I think of my grandmother. She used to make me savory toast. My mum cannot do it. She's got the recipe and she cannot do it in the same way that my nan did. Because there's a knowledge there that's been lost.
Yeah, look, no, I like a beef with Yorkshire puddings. Now, making the Yorkshire pudding the way my mum did, it took me ages to work out that.
And that's all going to be lost.
My mum's still there, you know. Her memory is going.
We're talking about food. We're not talking about technology. Yeah. Like again, how do you build a motherboard? How do you build a machine that builds a motherboard? If we were set to 0, we're going back. This is a disaster. This is insane. Like, and Cupid's saying we're a reactive species, but I'm sorry, but at some point, like, I know they want to protect that intellectual property. You put that aside for the species, and you put it in a hard copy, and it's stored in a government facility. And clearly, when you know how they have the raid sirens or whatever they go off, then it unlocks that so anyone can go in there and get, you know, so it's retrievable by anyone after the fact. And you have to have multiple copies because, again, like, let's just take in Australia, you know, multiple people might need that information. And it's ludicrous to me that this is not a thing. How much does it cost to build a safe room in just each state in Australia? A couple of mil? And it safeguards our entire future. And I just can't, like you put that as a proposed plan on a political thing, it's probably suicide. Because people will go, oh, you're a prepper and blah, blah, blah. But again, none of us can predict the future. An asteroid, look at the number of asteroids they're detecting in the last couple of years. We've had 3 come through. Before that, they were like every 50 years. They're noticing them with such more repetition now. We could die tomorrow and we'd never know. This is just crazy to me that we don't have these backup plans. I don't know. I know I'm being pedantic and I'm going down a weird...
You are, and you're raving.
I am.
Let's see.
Next question.
I'm just checking.
That was the
I'm
cyber.
just looking at... Yep.
All right. Wheel has changed to me. Anyway, all right. Aiden says, out of curiosity, who is the new CEO of Hurston? Oh my God. Are you really that slow? I'm an Aiden. All right, Aiden. Really? Really?
Old Man Hurston.
Really?
Old Man Hurston,
Yeah.
who we're plugging. Paul wants to lead a revolution.
Well, I think it's more than
Old
that. He also wants the jump point if Hurston wins called Old Man. And I think it's got a lot of connotations. It tips you. It tips the original Hurston guy, but it also tips Mark Hamill. His character's called Old Man.
Yep.
So just name it the Old Man
It
jump
is.
point. Yeah, Old Man. It's called Old Man. And that's it. It's done.
The Old Man jump point.
No, I didn't even have to jump it. Just call it Old Man. We're going to go through Old Man. It sounds a bit weird when you say it like that, but you know, I've heard other people say like Stanton Sphincter and shit like that. So if we get to pick the name, it'll be something weird, but they won't do that. They'll give us like 3 or 4 to vote on, I'm sure. Or they'll just name it.
They'll do what I do with the elections. They'll pick the characters who will fit, and then like with the elections, we had, you know, Lalani and Constantine and the other losers, whoever they were. And CIG was happy with whoever was there. But whoever was there was going to also change the story slightly, the hooks they'd have for each of them. You know, so... but everyone wanted Lalani because she's going to get us our blades and all the other stuff and AI.
Hey,
that was going to change stuff, but no. But anyway.
Stimpaxi says, what do we think about the Hawk? For a really long time, the Hawk was a ship that I actually, it would be the second ship I would earn in game every patch. It's really unique to fly. I am kind of interested to see how it turns out when it gets its new bounty hunting gameplay. I think bounty hunting gameplay in general, it will be interesting because we just need more gameplay. We don't have enough of it. But yeah, I think it's going to hit a niche with some people, especially those that are into the piracy. It's like a lawful piracy type of thing, isn't it? So
yeah, I really like the Hawk. It's a nice little ship. To me, it almost has a feel of, I don't know if this is almost heresy, but it almost has a feel of almost being a Tavaran-esque. It's got that bird type feel. It looks a bit like a bird. It even sits. It sits on. It almost looks like a hawk sitting on a building edge when it's at certain places. It looks like a predator.
Both the arrow and the hawk remind me of the real world Corsair. It's got those fold up wings. And again, that's why they've called it the Corsair, because it's got the fold up wings. But it's like a World War II fighter plane, so it's a lot smaller. But
I really like the Hawk. And it's that bounty hunting ship. And I think
EMP,
when bounty hunting comes in, it's going to...
EMP as well. You know, it's kind of a bit more upgunned than some of the other ships around its area. It kind of tries to do a lot, but doesn't do anything perfectly. But I think its versatility is what makes it interesting. So yeah.
And if I remember correctly, it's distortion gun, so it takes down the shields. It's got the EMP that takes down the shields. It's not meant to be a lethal killer. It's meant to be a
Sabler something. Oh, might have lost you. I think I might have lost him. Yep, I lost him. I'll be back in a sec. I don't know. That, or they're having a typhoon in Indonesia. I do know the Philippines are going through a typhoon right now. Right, I'll move on to the next question. Unfortunately, since he so we'll close that one. Oh, I hear sound. You back, Algared?
I think I'm back. I don't know whether I'm back yet.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. So. Right, did you want to keep talking about what you were saying about the Hawk?
Yes. Yeah, I think the Hawk's a great ship, but I think the way it's developed is as a ship that is for non-lethal takedowns rather than for lethal takedown, because you want to take your target and so it doesn't have the, its weapons are distortions, it's EMP, it's just a nice little ship.
A ship that's really waiting for its gameplay, like half the goddamn ships in this game. So, yeah.
And that's its problem, isn't it?
Yep. All right, we'll get there eventually, but sure. All right, we've only got about 4 questions left, guys. We're about 2 hours in, so we've got about an hour's worth of questions left. So we will end early, though, if you run out of questions. So please feel free to get another one in. Right, John Cave says, do you think this is a possible framework blueprint for future player orgs versus player conflict? Is he talking about the event? I think that's what he's talking about. Do you think this is a possible framework blueprint for future player org versus player org conflict? No, I think that's the other events, to be honest with you. They were much more org focused. This can be completely done solo. But also having an escort wouldn't hurt. So I think it's more small group, like small group orientated, Algared, I think is what I'd call it.
Yeah.
You're having trouble getting your camera back, are you? Or?
Yeah, the camera is, I guess the same problem with the camera.
Oh, okay.
But the camera is working and it's attached to the computer and all the rest of it.
I will try refreshing at my end. Just give me a second. See if I can. Bear with us, please. 2 secs. Is fresh. Nope. Nothing. Not on my end. All right. Well, assistant, see if we can get it fixed. Right. Do you want to talk about that at all, Algared? Do you see this event as a possible framework for blueprints for future player org versus player org conflict? I think that's more than other events, personally.
I think it certainly lays the groundwork to see how groups will do cargo missions, and I could see that for when we're building bases and stuff. But I think it's just CIG just testing out the gameplay and looking at what they can do and trying to do gameplay that appeals to more people.
Yeah.
Like most of the missions we've had in the past, most of the events have always been just straight up pew. And that's great, but it removes that, it really does become something that excludes a lot of people. This set of missions with the cargo hauling, it's something that everyone can do, and even the PV players can do, without worrying too much about having to, I've got to go fight something. I can do these missions without having to go to a location where I've got to fight a sandworm and worry about people attacking me as well. But I can also do it as go and defend a cargo ship that's trying to deliver cargo. I can do it as a mine. So it actually pulls in all the gameplay loops we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what makes this such a great mission set. Now, mining is not the priority of his mission. Fighting is not the priority of his mission. It's a cargo hauling. So we've still got those problems we saw in the store. Those missions are there that do pull in all that gameplay. And I think it's just shows a sign of CIG developing their gameplay and everything else. And that's a good thing.
Try restarting your browser with Ninja. I think that might be the issue. I could close it down and open it again.
Yep. Well, that's what I was in the process of doing.
All right. Sticky Dirty Fingers.
I'm a mid-mail. I can only do one thing at a time.
Yep. Sticky Dirty Fingers on Twitch says, moved over to Twitch, YouTube was being off. So Guardian or Meteor, which would be better ship? I think that's a personal question. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you want to do in the game. They are both differently tiered. Obviously, one being essentially a medium glass cannon, and the other the heavy fighter, but also the heavier price point. If I only had those two options, and it was me personally, I'd probably go the Guardian. But that's just what appeals to me. It might not appeal to you. But again, generally speaking, the medium fighters are probably going to be the better, more versatile all-rounder once the game kind of kicks off. So that's a really hard one to pick. I wouldn't buy either of them personally. But if I was, gun to my head type of thing, probably the Guardian.
Yep.
I'm sort of
I guess
feeling
he's not wanting to rejoin. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on then. So it looks like it's just going to be me for the rest of the stream. Yeah, it is a tough. So Stephen is just saying it's a tough call because he currently owns a Guardian Quai. I think the best is the MX of the Guardians. So, but quite honestly, if you're already at that point, why wouldn't you get something like a Redeemer or a Paladin? You're not talking that much extra money for a far superior ship that does the same thing. You just need a few more people. And again, you're going to get far more use and repetitive use playing with your friends. Like if you want to play on your own, that's a single seat fighter, right? And I'm not going to sit there and convince you that you should play with other people. But as soon as you're a person that plays multiplayer games, you want to play with other people, I can't for the life of me understand why you'd want a single seat fighter, because the most fun I've had in this game is always, no matter what I'm doing, it's with more people. It just is that way. And when I remember getting in the Polaris for the first time with Moist Noodle when it dropped, and he said it, and I agreed with him. That is the most fun I've ever had in this game, and it was just like it was like 5 versions of different combat, but the way we're all communicating and turning to shoot, and just that the teamwork makes the dream work type of thing. It was great, and it's the most simplest form of gameplay that is ever going to be. Just guys sitting in a ship shooting turrets and torpedoes. Then you compound engineering, repair, and armor, and refueling, and all the other shit that's to come. Again, you prefer to be on your own. I'm not going to sit here and convince you, but I like that multiplayer gameplay. And as soon as I move into that, I just want the bigger ships because that's the ships I want to play on. And then again, you look at the value and all that. I can always just take my bigger ship and earn a single little fighter and go out and do my own thing as well. Have your cake and eat it too. Any luck, Algared, or no?
Indeed. No, it's keeps telling me that the channel we're using is in use. So because it dropped
that means your own version is blocking you. Your own. So you've got a caching problem. So essentially, you need to restart the PC.
Yep.
So
it's just going to be you for the time being.
Okay, ugly mug time. All right, I might just put this.
Ugly mug.
I hate looking at myself. Right.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. What was the next one? All right. So socially confused. We're down to 3 questions. So this is going to be a quick stream anyway. What is your opinion of the Concierge armor just given out? I don't mind it. It's pretty good actually. He's talking about this one. So we bring it back up. Wherever the hell it was. My Hangar. He's talking about this one. Yeah, it's just a reward for being Concierge. So essentially, you get that, and then as you go higher, you get the other one. So I guess it's just a reward for hitting $1,000, and kind of cool. But it's nothing particularly anything to write home about. But it's just a nice little thanks, and make people feel good. Why not?
Oh, it's nice seeing little giveaways and things for stuff.
Did you see this, Algared? Let's go to rub Algared's nose in it for a second. Just for a quick chat. Can you see that?
No, it's too small.
I'll zoom in for you. Rub in it because he doesn't have that. That'll drive him nuts. Yeah. Guess who gave that to me? Grim got that for me from Vegas. Isn't that nice of him?
Okay.
He's a nice guy. Helping me out. He's don't worry, Grim. He's going to get you back now. You're in trouble. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so he was nice enough to get that for me. So yeah, thank you very much.
Maybe I'll get a couple of those. Maybe I'll be given access to those for our citizen.
You've already got a. Oh, you probably will. You probably will, mate. Actually, you probably are going to get one. Good on you.
So maybe.
You've already got other things
I'll
you rub my face. Like he's got 2 damn sibes. The old thing, son of a bitch. You can rub that in my face anytime he wants. Right. What do you mean you defo don't, Tomo? What do you mean by that? And this man does not speak English too well, but we'll see what he means in a minute. He'll translate himself. Yeah, I'd love to get a scythe, but it'll never be like a Vandal scythe with LTI. But you know, I can dream. I'm never going to get to the referral thing. Most of the referral, so I went from 14 referrals to 22 in the last 2 years, and most of those came from one person, from Nooblets, who put me up because he has a bigger YouTube channel. He's got like 500,000 or whatever, and he'll just put me up and he's like feeding me one referral every sale. So he tries to, he just puts it up, and once I get a referral or whatever, he'll just take it down again. So he's been nice enough just to keep giving me the free referrals. Very nice of him. But he's done that like 8 or so times, and I've just been fed all these little, you know, dragonflies and stuff like that. He's very nice of him to do that. But in most cases, we've taught you guys to be self-sufficient and to use the referrals for yourself, as it should be. We wouldn't be doing our job properly if we weren't informing you guys how to do things. And I don't mind. You know, the thanks that I get out of this, I don't know it's the same for you, Algared, is when someone comes up to us, with our developers do this, they come and go, you guys have saved me thousands. You know, that's all the thanks I need. You know, like because I know that I've informed you guys, and that's the whole reason we did it, because we were making these mistakes, and we just knew other people were going to be making them.
Yeah, when CIG devs say you saved us thousands, you saved me hundreds, or it's kind of weird. But yeah, so yes, that's an insult. We're just not spamming it, and we've never liked promoting ourselves. I know that sounds really weird, and we hated even doing the monetization and the ads.
Yeah, it's here.
And the only reason we did that is we wanted the channel to grow, and we needed to play the algorithm game. Well,
I've had that code there for 2 years, and as I said, in the 2 years, I've gone from 14 to 22. So I've got 8 codes in that time, and as I said, most of them have come from Nooblets, because again, you guys are more veteran like us, and you know how the system works. When people walk into an onboarding person videos like Morphologist, Board Gamer, Base Tomato, those people don't know anyone else that plays the game, and that's why they get given their code. But by the time you guys get to us, where we're right down the end of the chain, we've become veterans, and that you've tapped all your own friends and stuff like that. It's totally fine. I got no problem with that. The referral system is designed for COG to bring new people into the game. That's what it's for. We don't do that. You know, like I'll go out and individually teach people in game, and I don't go into the guide system and sign up for guides. I just teach people in the game.
Yeah. So Hook's got a question relating to the app you've got running that shows the Hangar link thing you've got running. I can't remember what it's called. He's asking, how do you get to see that download JSON in your Hangar? And there's an app that runs.
Yeah, it's called Shipping. I'll just show it. I can probably open it here if I customize toolbar. Yeah. No.
It is quite a handy little thing. It'll enable you to see how many ships you've got in your Hangar. You can actually download it. You can also click it again. It shows you how much you spent, which is a really bad thing for some people.
Yeah, I can. This one here, it's called Star Citizen Hangar Explorer.
Yep.
What do you want, Mister?
But it is quite a good little tool.
Yeah. Really handy. It basically allows the best thing of it, and it sounds so simple, is it just allows you to search for things. So we want to look at for the Meteor, MET. Oh God, Jack's pressing the keys. METE, and there's all the Meteor stuff. You're looking for a CCU.
It also does other little things.
It removes all those annoying things. Like if you're trying to apply CCUs, it just makes it so much easier, because you can type in the exact CCU you're looking for, and instead of like 100 pages of bullshit, just one thing.
And it also enables you to turn things. It just enhances the Hangar experience.
Highly recommended. It does have some bugs where you got to turn it off every once in a while, but that's. You know, CIG literally need to just take this and implement it into their stuff. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. that they have not gone back and make this more user friendly. You know,
I wouldn't be surprised if.
Like imagine how good they could make this, right? Where you literally go, I have an Aurora and I want to turn it into a Hammerhead. Show me the CCUs I've got and the best way to apply them. Literally take the game you've created and take CCU game and implement it into the official website. I'm not kidding.
I
Customer
wouldn't be
service
surprised if
101.
I wouldn't be surprised if Turbulent eventually do that.
Yeah.
One of the things that certainly CitizenCon showed me that because I was talking to some Turbulent devs and I said, oh, what's it like being with CIG? And they said, oh, it's great. I said, we can now actually develop the web pages properly, because what they used to do is they said we'd create a page or a link for every SAR that came up. And so it was a standalone thing from the web page. Being part of a company, they could actually go and develop the whole platform, right? And their pages were not just a link that was tacked on, but actually part of the setup. So for them, it was like, oh, finally, we can actually do the job properly.
Well, they talked about the referral program too, and they said one of the reasons why it got implemented was because they only have about 2 months a year that they can work on additional content. So that just shows you how restricted they are in people terms, right? So we're not going to get a lot of that stuff until it's just not high on the priority for them. Because the game is not out, they just don't see it as functionally viable. But again, I put it this way, you're doing your year of stability. You are trying to make things better. I'm sorry, the first place people come is a shit show. They come here to buy the game and it is a shit show. And it continues to be a shit show. And I know you're rebuilding it, right? And you're slowly doing it, but you've only got squadron drops to get this right. And they're like, you've made small little things along the way. Like we said for years, they needed to be called upgrades, not CCUs. You've finally done that. But again, you do not help people upgrade their ships anymore. Like you used to be able to take any ship you had, melt it and turn it into something else. The system was simple, effective, and it worked. Now, because of this, the LTI stuff, the Warbond, nor Warbond, you have made it complicated upon complicated. Your own devs come to us as third-party people and say, that should not be a thing. You should not be thinking outside sources for fixing your internal shit.
Yeah, thank you for saving me hundreds of dollars on CCUs and how to build my fleet. That's from devs. Like,
I understand why, but we understand why it's not being done. But it needs to be done before 442. You need to chuck some more people at this problem, and you need to get this website sorted ASAP.
I found it surprising when I got the impression that Ben was confused by the whole upgrade path thing, and I get that CIG originally. I gather what they originally viewed is, I've got this ship, I want to go to this ship, I just buy that CC bang, or that upgrade to that ship and just move single step.
It's people trying. They're always trying to make more money, but what they don't realize is they looked at it on paper and went, how do we make more money? Yeah. But what they didn't realize was the wallets were open and they were free flowing because people felt valued. You've now treated us like every other gaming company where before you had this thing. And anyone, I know a lot of you have joined along the way, but if you were there like pre-2015, you know what I'm talking about, right? And if you weren't here before 2015, I'm sorry, I cannot take you back in time to show you that, but it was a different time and it was damn amazing. And they just treated us like we were, they were so thankful that we were just making the game with them. We all felt included. Everyone was having a great time. I felt any money I spent, I felt really good doing so. I wanted to give them money. I wanted to see them succeed. And then they started putting all these restrictions in place, and I just went, nope. And I can tell you now, I'm not the only one. Algared will say so. Anyone you talk to from back in the day will tell you it was just so much better when Sandy was doing it.
Unfortunately, it's true. Sandy really pushed the idea of customer service and bringing the
Tell them about the thing with
players.
the customer service representative people, like the whole concierge team. That's all came from her, and it's persisted all this time because it is such a good thing. But tell them about the story you told me.
Which story am I talking
one
about?
with,
Because I tell you lots of stories.
The one where she said it, when she was talking to Christian, she basically said that it can't be that way anymore. And you know the one I'm talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, but they were talking once, and she said, "Oh, why won't you do it?" And Chris was, "Well, that's why it's always been." They were talking about the customer service and the problems, and they were just saying, "How are you dealing with this problem?" "Oh, we'll just put it in this, and we'll deal with it the way it's normal dealt with." And Sandy was like, "You can't do that. You can't treat your customers or your players like that. That's not customer service. You've got to bring them along." And so she literally revamped the customer service approach. The fact that the problems that people had weren't just dealt with by one person. They were they really wanted to be dragged along and make you feel wanted and valued.
And that was all,
which was totally different from every other gameplay. And that was Sandy. Sandy pushed that approach to dealing with players and as valued customers, not just a number or a...
I'd be putting Sandy right back in charge of it. She doesn't have to be the marketing person, but I'd put her in charge of it and get her to do it all again. And I guarantee you the amount of money they're earning will drastically increase. And I cannot get, because again, like you were there, Algared, you saw it, and I guarantee anyone in chat that was there, speak up and tell people, because it was such a better time, and I want to go back to that because I was happy to spend money. I'm not happy to spend money now. I feel like every time I have to spend money, it's being farmed out of me or drained out of me, like the patch bundles. She would never do that shit. She just wouldn't.
As Sticky Dirty Fingers says, it was good it was a good time back then.
Yeah.
Now it's a crap money grab.
Yeah.
And that's often what it feels like. And even the pack bundles they've got at the moment for the patch, even if they were doing them, they'd have been tailored more to... I think they'd have felt more tailored to what they're doing.
Sandy was if Sandy was here doing that, it probably wouldn't be as elaborate as that patch bundle, but I guarantee you a part of that would just be free for playing the game. Here you go. Yeah, have this limited time skin that you'll eventually be able to earn in game for free, but you get it now because you're just playing right now. Why isn't that a thing? If they have a patch bundle, why isn't there just a patch skin? So for example, we go back and look at this pledge store. And just for playing, why isn't there, like, it doesn't have to be the whole thing, right? But why isn't there a fourth one, like a white one as an example? And you just get that for playing. Almost like you got the 3 levels of Concierge. It's just a free one. You literally, you just play, you just turned up, here's how you remember this patch. And you see it in other games too, where they'll just give you, you see it, a really good example right now is Marvel Rivals, right? They will have like a battle pass, and there's all the shit you can get for free, or you can pay and you get all this extra shit. But you still get this stuff that you can progress. There's progression even on the free level. They don't have motivation to play less you pay. That's the problem right now. I feel like I'm being squeezed, and I know I'm not the only one.
I could see, even if I were doing the patches, you know, the skins that can be earned in game would have been linked to the sale.
Yeah.
So that, yes, I buy the ship, I can use the skins I've earned.
But doesn't that also advertise?
Just those little bits of logic would have just, I feel.
But again,
more applied.
Yeah, I know they're slightly different themes, but again, if you'd had a white version of this skin, and then it kind of brings you to the attention of the white, and you maybe try it on your mole, you go out and fly and go, oh, yeah, I could get that orange metallic one. Like they also help you sell the other shit. But there's almost like no thank you for just participating, other than you have to come in and grind relentlessly to get the skins.
Yeah.
Just a nice little patch thank you would be nice. Like, here, have a free helmet or whatever. And yes, they do that from time to time. this aggressive, like, I'm sorry, you're asking for $25 US for a couple of skins. And again, I might not want the armor. I might not want the pistol. I might just want the mole skin. Let me buy it on its own. You're bundling again. And this shit is what sunk World of Warships. It killed it.
I've said it a few times. I'm happy with the bundles as long as I can buy every item in the bundle separately. And because that way, and make the bundle slightly cheaper than the other stuff.
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. There is also one where you get all three of these for 60, by the way. So they cut $5 off the top of all of them. But still, again, once I have look at those three skins, which one's your favorite? Once you have it, why would you want the other two? Because 9 times out of 10, that's the only one you're going to take out.
Yep.
They just don't think how other people think. Bundling is a really bad idea. This is literally what I was talking about with PAX Algared, but on a micro level that I disagree with even more. And it makes me mad. Like especially what they, and the bundling kind of started with the blade bundles too. You needed one blade at most, but most people kept the blade bundles for the skin.
Yeah, so as just right says, I would have bought the armor, but I just don't use them all, so I don't want the skin. I don't want the paints.
Exactly. So, that's another great point. If you hit the nail on the head there, right? Absolutely. You're not going to buy an entire set of shit for something you're not going to use.
Yep. But if I can buy the suit, if I can buy that suit separately, I'll give you the money for that suit, but I'm not going to, and I don't have to buy the skin or the gun or whatever else.
Yeah, you think
that I don't use.
You think you're making yourself more money? No, you're pricing yourself out of people that only wanted the same thing. And I absolutely agree with Algared. Make them together cheaper and make them more expensive. So you could literally still make the mole skin $12, like the other ones were, or whatever the price. Again, we can look. Let's look up one, right? Let's look up the most expensive mole skin. Right. $13. So you can happily make it $13, and people will pay that, right? And the armor again,
because they can just get that one thing they want, and then make the story, make the armor $10 or $8 or whatever you do, and the weapon $3, and then make the bundle $20, and then people might go, I don't mind that armor, and I do want that skin, or I'll pay the little extra, I'll get the gun and get a discount. I said, no, I don't want that, so. But it's that type of thing that frustrates me. It's a bit like
they've got their fists so clenched and ironclad, and you can tell it's not working because they keep dropping the price on them. Instead of dropping the price on the bundles, give people options. Don't bundle. Have a bundle with a discount, like you've done. You've kind of done it here where you put all three together. I'm saying just go one more step back and split the bundle up. And I guarantee you'll have more sales because you'll get the mole guy that likes the mole skin that'll buy his favorite. You'll make it up on volume, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
They'll just buy the one mole skin, but they would it's the same thing. Like they would only buy that one thing, and as soon as you put in a bundle, they're not going to buy it because it's too expensive.
Yep. So just right. So the same thing happened with that weird bone armor with the Corsair paint.
Absolutely.
I don't have a Corsair anymore. I don't want to pay for the paint. I just want the armor.
That's literally what that was the first patch bundle, by the way. So that is the same problem. And they've had a couple since. So they had the Vanguard one and the Radiated Spirit one and this. So there's been 4 so far.
I've got to argue it's not the first patch bundle. The first patch bundle are the upgrades to the big Legatus pack. Now the Legatus pack has everything.
It's the first patch bundle. It's literally called the patch bundle. And it's literally the first one for most people. You're talking about the high end of town again, Algared. Most people, that's not going to happen.
I am talking about the high end of town, but the high end of town is the same problem.
Yep, it does have the same problem.
You do the upgrade packs to things like the Legatus pack, and they're, you're talking thousands of dollars, and 90% of that is blown out by paints and armor.
Well, to put it in perspective, this year, all these paints here, these patch bundles, they will be included in what Algared's talking about. So before, where it was just ships that were put into the Legatus pack and added to the upgrade kit each year, they now include every single armor, every single gun, everything. And they don't give an option for just the ships. You have to either buy everything or nothing.
They used to put everything in, but the number of ships that would come out would be significantly less. The
Yeah.
more ships they bring out, the more skin they bring out, the more weapons they bring out. Just inflates those packs and makes them
What are they, like
insanely...
$4,000 to $5,000 a year now, aren't they? So it's a massive upgrade. Like that's a lot of money per year. And again, you're not going to want every single skin. You're not going to want, like, I can understand the ships. I can get behind that if you're talking top end of town, right? But you're not going to want every single skin. That's just ridiculous. They need 2 variants.
Yeah, so
Again, we are talking about a real niche number of people, but still, like, it's just...
But it certainly makes you go, no, I'm not updating. I can't justify 5,000 or 6,000.
Especially when half of that becomes skins and armor that are going to be available in game anyway. And again, when you get to your 34th skin for the same gun or ship or whatever, you're not gonna. You need one really good one, and that's it. That's all you need. It's just kind of ridiculous. You are literally trying to stuff shit down people's throat at this point, and it's not going to work. It ends badly every single time. You need to go. I don't know who's on marketing right now, but you need to sit down with Sandy and have a chat, because I guarantee you, she knows this community like the back of her hand, and you need to go back to the way it was. You'll have so much money flowing into your coffers, you have no idea.
Look, here's a classic one. When we're having coffee with Sandy, and I was talking about going to the store at CitizenCon.
Oh, yeah.
And I said I was there, and I said I was there for... She said, oh, did you see such? And I said, no, I missed that session because I was in line at the store. She said, why? And I said, because the line was so long. And she said, what was the problem? And I went through and said that, and she said, that's not how I told them to set it up. She was aghast at how long it took.
I said to you really quickly, why isn't it just a pickup spot? You order your stuff off the website and they literally just send you a notification to say your shit's ready to pick up. And you could just walk in, give them a ticket, and they give you shit, you walk off. And then so they're just like a steady supply that you can come pick up all the time.
Yeah. But I was surprised at the way... Or
if you live in the UK, just get it, they just send it to your house. Stuff it.
Yep.
You know, like make it...
I was surprised that when we were talking, that Sandy was so shocked. But this, she said, this is how I'd have done it.
Yeah.
I think you made a comment of, why didn't I do that? And she said, that's basically how I said to do it. But they didn't do it. It was one of those weird things. And I thought, so.
Sounds like I know how to do things better than you. Shut up, Sandy. That's what it felt like at the time. Like she said,
it was just one of those. It was just one of those things, and that was just one of the things that just came out just from as we're talking. We weren't saying how to do that. I was just, it took so long at the store, and she was just shocked.
You know what to do? Sandy should hire a second person for marketing, and she does it like Sandy tells them to do it, and then do it like that, and then see who makes more money. Because that would be I guarantee you, like they would make so much more money how it was done in the old days. I felt valued, I felt wanted, I felt part of the game, I felt like I actively wanted to see them succeed, and now I feel like I'm just being nickeled and dimed and ripped off, and it leaves an absolute like Algared, you know, I've been really depressed, and it's all this shit that's doing it. It's this aggressive monetization that's killing me.
Hawk has a question. He says, how did they do it at CitizenCon? It was just like, I just assumed how it was all the time. They had their storefront and went down and you said, I want to get dit, and then they got it and then gave it to you. And
massive ass line. Like it was a really long line in an area that it probably covered half the area that they were in. Most of the area was just a line that was like...
just snaked through and...
And Algared, as I said, Algared stood there on the second day for 2.5 hours, and he was one of the quick ones. Most people, if you lined up late, you were over 3 hours waiting. So you're missing panels to pick up merch. Doesn't that feel a little weird?
And it was a... I can't remember how Sandy said she was going to do it, but I can remember we're sitting there and we were just talking about our experience at CitizenCon, and I said, I missed X panel because I was in the line, and Sandy was saying, why? What was the problem? I said, it was just a long line, and it was that shock that she was horrified that that was not how she'd told them they should set up a store.
That whole customer servicing, Algared, where they think more what's easier for them to do, not what's easier for us. And again,
Yep.
you've got to put your customer first, and that's what's
and
been
that-
lost.
and that-
The customer was
And
first.
that was Sandy's.
That's what Sandy had done. She put the customer first back in the day. This is not putting the customer first. This is putting, we need money to sell Squadron 42. Give me money now. Give me money now. And I want more money, so I'm going to force you to buy shit that you don't actually need to get the thing that you want. And unfortunately, the want trumps need, and people aren't buying these. And you can tell because the price keeps dropping.
And that attitude to treating the customer first was the thing that Sandy had pushed when she first came. And she said, well, why are you doing it? And they said, well, we're just doing it this way. And she said, you can't do it that way. And the response was, but that's how it's always been done in video games. And she said, no, you can't do that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And she wanted to change that approach. Now, clearly, if you're getting in new marketing people from other games, they're going to just do what they've always done and not follow that.
Absolutely.
Not follow that approach to customer service. And
do you know what
Sandy's approach was always customer service. And
you know what I'd liken it to, Algared? Do you know how you get the mum and dad type of shop and they go over the top with the customer service, but then you go into somewhere like McDonald's or whatever, and the kids there, because they're just trained kids, they just give zero fucks, right? Their customer service is shit. They're walking around with their underpants basically down around their ankles or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like it feels like the food feels dirty. The place feels dirty. It just doesn't feel right. And then you go to like a mum and dad shop, and they you feel valued because like we don't get as many customers anymore, so they treat customers like they're special. But that was what it was like all the time when I was a kid. All the shops were like that, and now you walk into a shop and they don't want you there. Because they're just an employee, they don't give two shits.
And that was certainly what Star Citizen's customer service was like early on. Now I know that, but as we've grown up, as the customer base, as the number of citizens has increased, that level is going to drop just because to keep that same ratio, you'd need to have hundreds of staff.
But again, but it's the way things are sold digitally. This didn't need to occur. This is literally money raising. This didn't need to happen. They could have treated us with respect. They could have given us little perks and little freebies along the way. Like you go back and look at my Hangar and look at all the shit that I got for free in the beginning. I don't get shit for free like that anymore. Like like I know we just got this concierge thing, but that's not for everyone. That's for people that have spent $1,000. Right? It does happen, but it's just not at the... Oh God, where the hell does my Hangar go? It's just not at the same frequency as it used to be. It's just totally disappeared now. You know, we had stretch goal things for hitting $1 million and stuff like that. You know, the CitizenCon stuff, they want you to pay $30 for a digital goodies pack. Like most games give you this shit for free. It's all money. It's just literally all become money raising now. The soul of what was this game. We're a PC. Like go back to the original trailer. You know, PC gaming. Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. You know, I'm a space game, and it's not that anymore. It is literally turned into this juggernaut behemoth of raising capital. And I know it's a business, and I know they need money. But I'm telling you, if you go the other way, you're gonna have more money than you got now. You've closed things off because on paper it seems to make more sense to you, but there's the being in the game and there's being on data sheets, and whoever's doing the marketing right now, whoever came in that it's new, is the worst it's ever been. They are worse than Elliot Chen. They're worse than the guy that was at EA. Whoever they are now, I don't know who you are, but I guarantee you history is going to mark you as the worst.
I think the classic is when they did the ship showdown and we pushed the Argo.
Yeah, in PvP. Yeah.
And the story is the marketing guy was peeved off because we were wrecking his sale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to make as much money. And then, we're making so much more money because so many of these little Argos are being sold because people are buying this cheap shit.
And we did all that to prove that point. It's got nothing to do with... Like, it's how you are treated. You will make it up in volume. You treat us with respect, we will treat you with respect. And the problem is, you are not respecting us when you bundle shit like that. You are just making people like the road we are going down. I don't want to play this game anymore, and I've said it now for weeks. The way it is going, it ends up being this thing where every patch you are trying to sell me this $30 expansion pack bundle bullshit in a forever game. I don't want to play. I don't want to play. I just want to play my game. I've already paid you thousands of dollars. You know, if it's a new and be happy and content with the new person in. Why are the new people slowing down? Because the game's not out yet. I know you're trying to bridge the gap, but when you set precedents like this where you're bundling, it's a slippery slope, because the next person that comes in behind you, they're going to look at what you've done and then just do that again and then add even more worse shit. That's what's happened. This has just got worse and worse and worse over time, not better. And this is what happens with every game I've ever seen in existence that goes down the normal marketing routes. And then you look at the indie devs that are releasing these games that are heaps cheaper, and they're like, look at Baldur's Gate. They literally do this massive talk on stage to thunderous applause of like, we're not going to have any paid monetization in our game. And people, because that, oh, here you go. Here's a free expansion pack. Like, you know, they've stopped games from using mods now because mods will affect their bottom. Because the typical example was Battlefield 2. They made, Battlefield 1, they made a mod called Desert Combat. That affected all the expansion packs so much because nobody wanted to buy the expansion packs because they were all playing the free mod that was Desert Combat. So what does EA do? They got all the guys to come work on Battlefield 2. Then after Battlefield 2 came out, they fired them all, got rid of them, but they'd already made Battlefield 2. Then they also, when they made Battlefield 2, said, oh, no more mods anymore. And ever since then, EA doesn't allow mods on any of their games. And they've tried to kill off mods. But also, by killing off mods, you've killed off half the development team. I can tell you right now, do you know someone in the CIG that's really into mods? That worked on mods a lot in the 90s? You have an idea, Aegis? I bet you don't.
No, I don't.
A lot of them, I can tell you right now, a very key member was John Crew. He's a modder. That's how he got his start. That's how I got my start. That's how a lot of us got our start.
I vaguely remember him saying something like that too. But yeah.
Yeah.
You are not being a programmer. It kind of over my head.
This is not a CIG exclusive problem. This is an industry-wide problem. You are cannibalizing your own shit. And where this game was starting, it was back like it was an indie game. And you've essentially gone from an indie game to every other AAA game, and that's your problem. You're not a game yet. You tried to do, at one point you tried to do BlizzCon. You're not Blizzard yet. You need to go back to your indie roots, and I guarantee you the money will flow. And you're too scared to go back here because you've got something that's kind of working, but you know it's not because you're doing this. You're doing this shit. That's how I know it's not working, because you're getting more and more desperate, and we're all seeing it, and we're not buying it because it reeks of desperation. And I guarantee it, and Aegis will tell you this, any woman can read, they can smell, every man here knows what I'm talking about. Women can seek desperation. And I guarantee if I sat any woman down that plays SC and said, does this look desperate? They'll tell you it looks desperate. Because that's what it is. It is a cry for help. You are trying to raise money for Squadron 42. We understand that, but we actually want to help you. And I guarantee if you came to the community and say, we need to raise funds, what's a really good way to do that? We will tell you how to do that. We'll tell you what we want, and we'll give you the money. But you haven't done that. You've gone off and done it on your own. You didn't take us with you. You needed to take us with you on that journey. And that's what's missing from back in the day. We were taken with you. We were shown behind the curtain. What's there now? We're getting less ISCs. We're getting, like Jared said it himself, we had, what was it, 4 in 6 months? Well, they used to do one every week. You're just locking shit more and more down. That's to your own detriment. We're sitting here screaming we want to see you succeed, and you've like put your fingers in your ear and you're fucking drowning. Ran over, but you need to wake up. It's getting worse. It's getting way worse, and it's going to get worse because you keep trying to be more and more desperate. And I know the marketing person. I don't know who they are. I don't want to have a go at them. I don't want to see them dead. I don't hate them or anything like that. I'm literally trying to help you. And if you can't see that, that's okay. But I'm telling you, Go sit down. If you don't believe me, don't believe Algared, you don't believe any of the community, go sit down and actually talk to Sandy. I guarantee you, Sandy's ideas will get you out of shit. She'll just try one of it. What do you got to lose? Just try one idea that she has. I guarantee it'll be good because she started this ball rolling, and you need to go back to that. I guarantee you the money will flow like the spice.
So certainly the approach to how you deal with customer service.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to do all the things. Like, yes, again, obviously you need way too many people to pull it off, but anything that's digital that you can do that it's easily duplicated, you should be doing that. And again, bundling, looking at other games that have monetized the shit out of people, is not the way to go. It's just like I've followed this game for a third of my life, and nothing has scared me more than this shit. Nothing has made me more depressed and not want to play this game.
It certainly gets worrying when, like I've said several times, I don't mind bundling as long as the items are all available separately. The second you can't buy the items individually and they're only in a bundle, you're killing your market. But anyway, we have absolutely dragged that dead horse through the fields and over the hills and dales. It's time to move on if we can.
Still need to be said. Tomo's got a question there. He says, what mods would you put into SC totally hypothetical? Look, honestly, I think eventually if this is successful for CIG, they will actually start to port other universes. So anything like Star Trek, Star Wars, they'll all be, reskin the whole game into a Star Wars or Star Trek would work awesomely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Demon Wolf said Star Wars, B5.
Yeah.
Any of those.
Yeah.
Sci-fi tropes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah.
I'd love to see any of those.
Again, again, you imagine if this did really, really well, and I'm talking like, again, hypothetically, but say it did really, really well, I could almost see Chris going back and making a movie on Squadron 42. I could actually see that as a thing. I really could. Would we want it? Would we need it? No. But would it raise a bunch of money? Yeah, it would. But I don't think it's needed. But I could see it as a thing.
He just cut and paste all the cut scenes from Squadron 42, and he's got his movie.
See that emoji Tomo just did on Twitch? That is the most popular emoji. It's like I looked at it last month. I was even going to bring it up. Hang on. No, I don't think I can, but I could probably bring it up to show you Algared personally. Hang on. So when you go into the creator dashboard thing here, so there you go. Look. So in the last 30 days, that's been used 369 times. I wish there was a way I could. Oh, I can't bring. Wait. I can probably take a screenshot. Hang on. I'll take a screenshot and then I can bring that up in Firefox so they can see it. So here, it won't be animated though. So yeah, bear with me.
Because it's a screenshot, so bear with it.
Yeah. Save as, and I'll save it as Tomo. Right. And then if I open that, what's going on there? What is it? Yeah, that's weird. Okay, that worked. And open with Firefox. Yeah, there you go. What is it? 369 times. You need to use it one more. Oh, you probably can't use it again, Thomas. It's 369. You'll ruin the number. But yeah. Why would it let me zoom in all of a sudden? Is it Alt? Normally I can scroll and zoom in, but it won't let me. Oh well. Anyway. Oh, all right. Next question, I think, Algared. What are we up to?
I think we'd be up to a YouTube question because I don't think we've got any on Twitch.
So the next one is Adam Prescott, who says, "If I was going to buy a new ship, the Meteor ain't it." Yeah, well, that's just a statement, but I again, so many other things you can buy.
But I think it's a fair statement. Like when you're looking at the price of the ships, and you're looking at what the ships can do, the Meteor really is, it's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Which I think lowers its value. There's no internal cargo grid. There's no cargo grid for it. So it really is just a fighter. No, I know the Mantis had the same problem. But yeah.
Go through those.
So Demon Wolf has a question.
Yeah, go for it.
On Twitch. He says, with the army given out to to Concierge members, this is hopefully a start of a possible Concierge rework. Are we going to have to wait a few more years though?
They had multiple people that joined and left the company over the Concierge program because they just couldn't get people to work on it. It's the same reason Todd Pappy probably ended up leaving too. He couldn't get people to work on Star Citizen. He couldn't get people to actually, they had developers, but they didn't have enough to go around. They were just all guns, all hands on Squadron 42.
And so the things that they were trying to develop, it was a one-man job and it needed a team.
Yeah.
So That's an Insult has a question.
I'm going to call
as well. That's an Insult's question is, will we get a Gladius Mark II?
Gladius Mark II. I think they'd get the variant thing that you and John were talking about.
Yeah, well, Gladius is just a fighter, not the Gladiator. I would like to see, will we get Gladiator variants? But yeah.
Oh no, you wanted the bombing variant, didn't you? So yeah, apologies for.
I would love to see a bomber variant on the Gladiator, but I'd also like to see a cargo variant that could do the cargo drops. Because in law it's used for several. It's basically used for cargo, helps evacuations and bombing runs, and it'd be nice to see those variants. But
oh shit, I've missed a bunch of super chats because I was on the questions. Byron Hall, thank you for the $3 Australian super chat. Keep up the good work. Long time backer. Love SC. Yep. Thank you. Sorry for that, man. I was because Algared's having issues today. He normally tracks this stuff. Lucky Charm, $20 US super chat. Thank you. You guys rock. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm sorry for missing those guys, but you can't see it behind the scenes, but essentially I have one side for YouTube and one side for Twitch. But because I had to do the Q&A because the bot's broken, it hides the YouTube stuff, and I have that on a separate tab. So apologies for missing those. So normally Algared.
Yeah, I probably should have just opened up YouTube on the big screen.
What you should do is you should just open two browsers and have one in Twitch and one in YouTube, and then just put them side by side on the TV, and then you got to look at both.
Yeah, I could do that.
Because you know if you're using Windows 11, look, when you drag it to the side like this, see, and then you just do that with both browsers. Yeah. Oh shit! That just redid all my frames.
Should have done that to start with, but this is what happens when you are doing stuff that you don't normally do. Normally, I've got the Windows open on the laptop on the computer, and it works. But when you're in a hotel and you're doing things on the fly, it changes things.
Okay, next question here. This is from Shady Phase. It says, as this is an event where the corporations are competing against each other, why was corporate sabotage not a part of this? Hurston would absolutely hire people to mess with other people's companies. Some of us, I think Pistol Pete was talking about this on his stream, that there's probably people already doing that. Like if you're a fan of Microtech as an example, and this would be happening with any company, right? I'm just using it as an example, right? So someone from Microtech, and they know Hurston's winning, they could actually head to Hurston and deliberately stuff with their elevator consoles in hopes of breaking them, so those people can't do the missions. So not actual Hurston or that, but the people that are fans of Hurston or fans of Microtech breaking other people's. Yeah, totally a thing. I could totally see that being a thing.
Getting a mission to do that, yes. I could see that as being a thing.
Yeah. Oh, froze because I went off it. Okay. Yeah. I again, I think it's gonna be a timing thing. They just don't have time to do everything they want to do. Early days yet, so I think as more systems get rolled out, it'll roll in. Right. This is our second last question. No, it is our last question because he's done it twice. JFam says, would you feel better about the variant ships we are getting if they did a better job of filling holes such as a Corsair salvage variant? Corsair salvage variant that would fill in the role of large salvage ship. It's not just about making them utility over combat. I want to make that really clear. It's just that they feel so shoehorned in because it's like they didn't. So when the people left and they had to bring new people in, they've obviously had, I don't know how many the number is, right? So let's just say there was 5, right? They've got to take those 5 veteran people and spread them out across to teach the people. So they're teaching people and trying to bring them up and trying to keep the same number of ships coming out. You cannot sustain that. You cannot have less people and make more, or even make the same, right? And so that's what happened. It feels it. What's that old saying, Aaron? Too much butter over. From Lord of the Rings. Too much butter over. What does he say? The old dude.
As Bilbo says, I feel like I'm stretched too, like butter spread too thin over bread.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I was trying to say. So you actually take that. It's just not sustainable, and they all feel like training ships for people that are just not as good as regular ships. Because again, you take a custom shape and I'm trying to think of something in my room that I can use as an example, right? Often when you have a weird object, you've got to make a custom box. Think about all the packaging you see when you buy packages. And the package is usually, it's vacuumed out and custom, or the foam is cut perfectly to fit around that package. You can't take that same piece of foam and put it around every single other object. You generally try to push something into it. Have you ever done that, where you try to put the old product in the new product's box to put and store it on the shelf or something, and it doesn't quite fit? You kind of jerry rig it, and it just feels shit though. That's what these feel like. They feel like you've taken an old thing and tried to put it in the new box, and it doesn't fit properly because you're trying to just make it work so you're saving storage space on your shelf. That's what they feel like. That's a really good example when I think about it, because again, look at the Meteor. It's like, we had a Mantis that was kind of cool. Let's double down and try and sell that. And then you doubled the price, essentially. Not quite, but you get my point. And it just leaves a bad taste in it. You did the same thing with the Asgard. You had a great ship. Everyone that wanted the Asgard would have happily paid $25, but no, you weren't happy with that, so you made it $25 cheaper. You forced those people to go buy a whole nother ship. They're not going to do that. They're going to buy an LTO token for $50 instead of $25, and then melt their ship and then upgrade to it. So at best, you made $50 instead of $25. Yeah, there are going to be some poor smucks that don't know how to do that, and they're going to buy the whole ship again, but that's on you. That's terrible customer service. That's really bad.
As Bowler says, look, the problem for Meteor is the price. No one would have had a problem buying a Meteor for $100, $120, $125, $130, or the Prowler utility for for less. But when it's so overpriced, it's just people go, "Are you insane?" And it does leave a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah, even that, like Just Right says, it should have been 190 war bond, $220 credit. Even that I can get behind, because it just doesn't add up where it sits. Right? Regardless, put the Meteor aside, this is now 12 months of repetitive behavior. Since last August, so literally in 2 weeks' time, we'll be in August. And since last August, that means we've got to ship a month every year. Or every month, a ship every month for a year. Look back at those ships, and I said this on Space Tomatoes podcast yesterday, and I don't know when that'll be out. You can go watch it, but I felt like I was just very negative in that episode. But
you probably were.
You look, I'm going to say it. You look back at the ships. What are the ships that stand out? And there is only 2 of them: the Polaris and the Golem. Everything else just looks like it was rushed, pushed out, and crap. And I'm sorry, and I hate shitting on new people's work. Welcome to the game. I'm sorry that you were asked to make that and it just doesn't stand up against other ships, but they just don't stand up. You had a quality standard that was here. You had a really high bar, and they've brought that bar down. And I know you're trainees, and I can forgive all that. And you know when I'm going to forgive it? When you actually start making proper ships again. And if it takes 18 months to get you guys back to speed, so if we've got another 6 months of this, so be it. So be it. But
as Just the Riot says,
mm-hmm.
all these ships are around the same price. The Scorpius Antares, the Constellation Andromeda, the Scorpius, the Vanguard, the Hoplite 400, the Apollo Triage, the Ares, the Starfighter, the Inferno Ares, the the Ion, the Corsair, the Mercury, the Star Runner, the Vanguard, Warden. They're all around the same price, and yet you look at the roles of those ships, and they're vastly different. And then you look at the price of those ships in game, and again, that, as we said earlier in the show, they're vastly different. Why on earth should I spend my hard-earned money, the money I've earned with blood, sweat, and tears, and buy a crappy little fighter when I can buy a ship for the same price that does so much more, offers good solo gameplay, ability to carry cargo, group gameplay? It's insane, and it's absolutely frustratingly annoying.
It goes back to what we said earlier, Algared. It should be
exactly
feel good in buying it. I
should
should want to give you money for that Meteor. I look at it and go, no, I don't want to give you money for that Meteor. It doesn't line up in value.
While I hate the steel, the Cutlass steel because of the in-game reasons, why in hell would I buy an in-game a steel when it's like 3-4 times the price of a Cutlass? That's absolutely moronically insane.
You know, when we
doesn't make sense.
You know, when we were looking at where the hell were they? The ship prices. I'm trying to find them. I've got so many bloody tabs open right now. This one, right? Do you honestly think that that when that ship lands, that it's going to be 5 mil like the other heavy fighters?
Yep.
No, do honestly? I don't think it will. You know, the Mantis is like, what was the Mantis? It was like 3.6 or some shit when it came up. Hang on, Mantis, 3.4. Now, honestly,
do you think the medium fighter is going to be
maybe
significantly more expensive than that?
Maybe 4 mil, but it's not going to be 5.6 or whatever the Scorpius was. Look, I'll bring up Scorpius again.
Or
Scorpius
the Hurricane was
5.4 for the Scorpius. Hurricane was the Hurricane was even more expensive, wasn't it? Again, the Hurricane
about the same.
The Hurricane is cheaper, and it's 5.5. No, the Hurricane's a little more expensive. That's the crazy thing. 5.5.
They're about the same price.
It'll be like 4.5 million at best. There is no way that is perceived value. It just we as a community need to start looking at this shit and treating it accordingly, because the prices in game need to line up with the prices we're paying.
Unfortunately, I've said it many times. We made a rod for our back when we used to buy everything.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing, you know. In some ways, it was a good thing because we were supporting the game, and you know, back then, I'll be honest, I did not mind spending money because I was supporting development of the game. But
right said there as well too. Not to mention how bad were the CCUs that are Invictus this year? Worst they've ever been.
Yeah,
that was shit. It's like the new person came in, they were confused by them and went, oh, let's just not do this anymore. The only thing that was good about the system, even though it was complicated, was you could actually save money. And they've just gone, well, we're not going to let them save money anymore. We're just going to remove all those. Yeah. So the system was so complicated they weren't prepared to learn it, so they just axed it. Yeah.
So Hook says, even I might consider the Meteor if it had been $100. It would seem cheap. But now,
I think you'd have to realistically say, though, Hook, it would have been 150, like the price of the Mantis. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. 175.
Yep.
Would you buy it 175?
Look, 175. Yeah, you consider it. But
that's in line. That's in line with.
Says, no effing way.
That's in line with other medium fighters. You know, again, I don't think you can price it at the price of a Super Hornet. It's a one-person fighter, and does it stand up against the Super Hornet? I don't think it does. And even then, Algared and I were against that, increasing all the prices by $50 on the Hornets. It just shouldn't have been a thing. Now, I understand they talked about increasing the prices of the ships as time went along. I totally get that. But you've got a problem with what let's be honest, when this system was created, it wasn't designed for this many ships. You've had a time problem where it's taken far longer than you intended it to take. Half the ships that we have wouldn't exist if we'd stuck to the original plan. Do you think the Meteor would be a thing? Honestly, if you didn't have to train people, would the Meteor be a thing? No, it wouldn't. Would would we have the Peregrine troop? No, we wouldn't. Look back at all the ships.
The only reason we got that is people wanted the Raven. That's it. And they were trying to shoehorn the Raven into a look that people wanted.
They literally took what they knew we wanted and tried to feed it to us, but it didn't work. It didn't work.
Right, good.
There's a lot of people that brought the ships on their merit, not because of the way they looked. I don't know many. Well, I'm sure there is someone out there that brought a Peregrine or a Firebird because they really wanted a Raven. But I think most people wanted the Raven. They didn't want either of the others. They wanted the Raven because it was the Raven, not because it was just rare, but because of what it did. And again, the same thing with the Mantis. Like if you're buying the Mantis, it's not just the look; it's what it does. How can I get that look, but in a slightly different? That's not a fighter. That's another. Let's be honest. What's the Mantis? Combat support? Would you? Is that how you would kind of classify that, Algared? If you had to think about it quickly. What's another combat support? When you and I first saw it, and it was an EMP. We're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
Look,
you're behind the EMP, Mantis. But I can't get behind a fighter.
Yeah, Demonwolf says what I said earlier. The Meteor feels like a new steel. And it is.
I'm going to go one step further. They all feel like the new steel. All of these side grades feel like mistakes. That's why I'm like that. The bundling, like the last 12 months has got me really down. There was the guy that you were talking about earlier, the Australian guy that at CIG said to me, and I repeated it to you. He's really excited to see what you and I think of all the ships coming this year. Sorry to disappoint you. They've all been crap. Other than the Golem, they've all been crap.
Sith Lord Naughty Bear says when you're comparing the price of the Meteor to the Ocean, the Andromeda is cheaper and it's better.
Yeah. Do you think I like shitting on people's work? I know we don't like doing that. We don't like being negative. We like to try and give critical feedback. And my critical feedback is they needed more time to cook. You didn't cook them properly. And every single one of these variants, I think back to the priority utility we did, that was like the last one we did, right? And you and I, in 10 minutes, Grim, Trispone, anyone we talked to, within 10 minutes came up with a better variant.
Yeah.
Like it's like, how did you not cook on this? You've been doing this for months. How did you... Again, I don't know behind the scenes. Algared doesn't know behind the scenes. But surely you could have made cooler variants. Like
just looking at the chat though, people are saying, "Hey, the Asgard is a ship they like."
The Asgard, I will give you as an exception on a rule, but also they bunged that, did they not? By not making it a natural upgrade to the Valkyrie, so everyone could just pay $25 an upgrade. In what world is the ship that's a transporter that carries a bigger thing cheaper than the other one? I'm sorry, but come on. And were you trying to tell me those seats are valuable? That's the only difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a downgrade in every single way. It's an upgrade in every single way except the seats, which are a downgrade. It's a physically larger ship. It would have to be.
Stop smashing those.
No, they're rated. They're rated. They just rated. So Loken plays rated with Pilot Turn 1. Hey Loken, hope you're doing well. We're having a bitch session, man. We're going on about how bad all the ships are, all this type of shit. If you want, Loken, I know you're about to head off. Jump in the Inforunners and say hello. I know he won't because he's probably it's like wait. It's 2 a.m. then.
So
yeah.
And the Raiders with their hellos or whatever they're doing keeps racing the
stream. Drop pods. They are Warhammer drop pods. So that's why they're doing it, because they're raiding us. They're dropping in.
Yeah. Love the Warhammer drop pods, but every time I try to read a question, more of them drop, so it makes it very hard.
Yeah. Algared technology, not good bet fails.
Ravelik 6 has it. Well, sure, they're small. Ravelik 6 has a question, if I can read it.
You go for it.
which is not going to happen because the chat is being
What was their name? What was their name?
Roblox
Oh, can
6.
anyone explain
Can anyone
why?
explain why the Gladius does not have an animated main thrusters yet?
Priority order.
I'm going to say it's priority.
Yeah, and they're probably working on
I'm
it.
going to imagine that the Gladius for Squadron 42 probably does, and it'll be updated a bit like the. We'll get a new version of the Idris once Squadron comes. So currently the version I understand is not the current one, but yeah, they'll fix it. It'll come. So that's my view, but as you said, priority order.
Yeah, it's just for someone that follows the ship so closely like Algared and I do, it's just been disappointing because I hate to shit on people's stuff. I like to always seem positive in this game, but like that and the monetization, it's just got me really down. And I know I'm not the only one. I've been talking to people in the background, and they all feel the same way. Yeah. Hopefully it picks up when CitizenCon takes off, because we're going to get, some more new ships. But again, even the Starfarer that was CitizenCon last year, that suffered from the same problem. It felt very shoehorned. And if you like that ship,
yep.
Apologies, but you can look, you sit there and compare it to everything else that came before it, and there is just something off. It just does not, like, it visually it's amazing, right? Can't fault it visually, but layout wise, it's like, what drugs were you taking when you packed the back of the car? You know how you get, you know how, like my stepdad has this innate ability. He can pack so much shit into the back of the car. It is amazing, right? Yep. My dad, he's not bad. I'm not so bad, but he is just exceptionally good at it, right? That's what it feels like. Instead of taking the time to pack it as well as they could, they just went, yeah, this will kind of do. Yep. And then they've created more work for themselves because they're now going to have to go back and fix it.
As Hook 2005 said in YouTube, I used to buy all the new ships. No, on Twitch, sorry. I used to buy all the new ships. Haven't bought any new ships since last sighted. Basically, the only exception was the Atlas. I'm pretty much in the same boat. I've stopped buying ships. Most of the ships don't appeal. And I suppose that's and
if you,
that's the problem, isn't it?
If you don't like me venting, I'm one of those people that I just get it out and it goes. It makes me feel better. So that's why it's therapeutic for me. I just get it out and I try to get over it. But this thing is just every time a new shit comes out, I'm back there again.
It's a bit like when we argue. We argue, we get it out, and 5 minutes later it's back to normal.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it's just disappointing. I want to get past the spirit and I want to get back to where we were, but we'll see. All right, I think that is everything, Algared. I think we're done. I need to find someone on Twitch to raid, so let's let's go have a quick look on Twitch. Let's have a look. Who is doing the Star Citizen stuff? There is Star Citizen. Okay, it's not bringing it up. Oh no, there it is. It was right there. It was right there. Hey, they got a new image for the patch. Of course, Micro appears twice. Right, who do we know here? Have a quick look. Is anyone? We go with a smaller one this time, Agger? What are you feeling? What's speaking to you? Let's see if there's anyone we really know.
I'm always quite happy to go small, but I'd be quite happy to go with anyone we know. Is there anyone we know?
I'm trying to find someone that we know that's not already got a whole heap of viewers, and there's not a lot.
Yep.
I'm going down to some of these smaller ones, see if there's anything that kind of pops out.
Rate some small viewer or some new person who's doing Star Citizen. Yeah. Break their screen.
There's 3 people here streaming at the same time called it look like they're doing a thing, and there's a guy here with the trucker hat doing the hauling. I don't know. Do we go
trucker hat doing hauling? Come on. A trucker doing hauling in Star Citizen?
Yeah. Well, it says 4.2. You want to do that one? Okay. We'll go him.
Yeah.
He's only got 5.
A trucker doing hauling. It's got to be worthwhile.
He's got
supporting.
He's got 5 viewers right now. So
we're going to give him a boost.
We'll be watching as we raid here. So make sure you absolutely smash his follow button, because smaller people like that don't tend to have it set up properly, and so they have these big pretty graphics that basically just go all over the place. So we've got to get through the ad that I've seen. Man, they're really popping the ads a lot now. It's crazy. There's so many. Yeah, they're really pushing the monetization, but hopefully he's only got the one. What is he? Nope, he's got two.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
All
Duff
right.
Digit. I'm reading the chat, Duff Digit. I'm ignoring it.
Pesty only has 15, but who is Pesty? I don't know Pesty. Sorry, Pesty. I'll go back and have a quick look. I don't know Pesty. He's just 15. Hang on. Devil, up in Chile.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Well, we did for your immersion the other week. Yeah, I'm happy to go. I don't know who Pesty is, and I can't see them here. So, yeah. Oh, we could have gone Yo-Yo Meg, but we'll go this guy, because God, still playing ads.
I think
how many ads has he got on here?
I don't know. It's Twitch.
That's why he doesn't have any viewers. All ads. Yeah, well, they don't give you a choice. Oh my God.
No, that's right.
Another ad. Wow. Okay. All right. Anyway,
poor guy.
We're gonna start the stream. Make sure start the raid. It should be ready to go after this ad, hopefully. But yeah. Hope you guys had a good time. I'm sorry I was venting so much, but we'll be listening in. So make sure you break his follow button. Agrid's saying goodbye. He's waving, but you can't see him. So
I am
YouTube,
waving,
say goodbye
but
to
the
Twitch.
camera's not working.
Yeah, Twitch said goodbye to YouTube.
Yeah, make this trucker guy feel loved. And,
we'll be listening.
Awesome.
Make sure you break his follow button. All right. See you guys. Bye. And they're gone. All right, so listening. I hope this is not copyrighted music, because it's going to kill our stream. I'll turn it down to where you can. All right. There we go. He just said shit.
The raid? Inforunners?
Mm.
Insane, man. What were you doing?
We were
Holy shit, guys. I wasn't expecting that.
we were just talking about the game. And then I've got to add him.
What are you guys doing? Thanks for the follow, Dean Wolf.
Yep. All right. We'll move on.
Yep. Goodbye, Twitch.
But yeah, you can see
stream.
he's even got the default zombie on stream. That's the default follow. Yep. So yeah, he's very
I saw
new.
a zombie running across the stream.
Yeah, he's in the. It looks like he's in the Meteor too, by the look of it. So yeah, is he in the Mantis?
Yes, he looks like he's in a Meteor.
So he's in there giving.
Oh, he's not doing cargo missions. That's a fact.
All right, well, let's see if he goes in the third person when he takes it. It looks like the Meteor, but it could also be the Mantis. I'm not quite sure. Oh, he's in the Meteor because it's got the big guns. I can see in the top left. All right, we'll love him and leave in them. With that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank everyone that needs to mail on Patreon at the end of the video. So the video is on the Aurora that Algared started off, that he wanted to talk about. So that he wants to do a rework of the Aurora, and we actually started talking about it. Went to Grim did a stream on it, and then it became this huge big rumor. But that's the episode that kicked it off.
Apparently, there's I actually had someone ask me if I'd heard about the Aurora rework as well, so which was quite weird. When you see things come full circle, but yeah.
Really quick thing, and I know the people on Twitch are going to miss out. I just saw another question pop in from Chris. He said, sorry for the last minute question. If Paul Jones had stayed, would we have got this many variants? No, I don't think we would have, because when Paul left, he then came back and kind of told the people that were working on the Banner Merchantman, and they're the people that left. So if Paul Jones hadn't left, they wouldn't have left. It was a cascading effect. And CIG should have just paid them the extra money. We wouldn't have had this problem. They would have brought in more people, had more veterans to change them, train them, and all that, and it would have been fine. And we would have had a Banner Merchantman by now.
Yeah, I don't know if it was.
You've got to pay money to retain your veterans. It's just that simple.
I don't know if it was a money issue or a moving issue or some other issue. But you want to do what you can to retain. Either way, you want to do what you can to retain those veterans, because it means you don't have to spend so much time training and running people through the onboarding and building them up. And I think that's the problem we've got with the banner. We just there's too much missing.
All right, then with that, then the invisible guy's been Algared. Or Old Man Hurston.
And the invisible guy is pointing to him and saying, and that's execute. And we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.